to see coming off of what happened on Friday. We close out the week last week and the session itself basically at day lows, if you remember. So a nice bounce back here right across the entire board ahead of very important data to come, not only tomorrow, but also on Wednesday. Obviously, the much spoken about already. CPI data coming tomorrow. We get the Fed then on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Remember, market down. We're back on 15 minutes early on Wednesday at this time. So 1:45 on Wednesday market time. Tomorrow morning as well, 8:25. Come join us for that CPI print that's going to come through before things get going. 0.65 there for the S&P, a full percent for the Dow. NASDAQ lagging ever so slightly, but nice day anyways to be in positive territory. What a move we've had again today for crude oil. I mean, it was flat. It was up more than 4%. Now we're back to about 3%. So pulling in a little bit as we head towards the end of the pit session in crude trading today. It'll go electronic here in about a half an hour. 0.5% there for Bitcoin. Ethereum back to the downside ever so slightly as well. Overall, I mean, hey, we'll take it. 0.63 right now for the S&P. A lot of green on this board. Healthcare, a bit of a sticking point today. 7.3 for Moderna. Downside on some Pfizer headlines. They're competing with each other now for patent issues on these mRNA vaccines. Regeneron, CRL, LH, to name a few there, in negative territory. Tesla, yeah, we're going to talk about Tesla coming up here. 5.3% to the downside, just absolutely getting cracked back lower once again. Some of the retailers showing some strength late in the day. Most of these were red throughout the morning, now back to green. There's the energy group, obviously with oil up 3%. They're going to be in positive territory as well. Communication stocks nicely positive outside of Netflix, almost 3% downside. But hey, who wants to trade Netflix when you can trade EHang International? Right. We'll talk about EHang too. If anyone, Google that flying thing, whatever it is. There's actually videos I saw too of the flying thing, flying people around. Let's get going with a bit of a review. I don't know what we were talking about. If you joined us in the pre-market this morning, there was a ton, as there is typically, to understand and be aware of and be ready to trade. Shawn is going to lead the way with a look at one of his trades from this morning.
See, Brendan, it's your trade of the day right now, but it's not EHang. So now I feel disappointed, but it's your trade of the day here on Trader TV, and it's brought to you by Day Trade the World. Make sure you hit that QR code below and start your day trading journey today. Prop floor, open it up. All right, Microsoft, look, today was pretty simple. I even got a message from Brendan this morning. He's like, you know, Microsoft is taking a 4% stake in the LSE. I was like, huh? What's up with that? But it does kind of make sense if the LSE is looking for some help with Azure or in the cloud computing, data mining, things like that. Azure can't be any bigger than that. There's obviously AWS and Google, but if there's, well, there's so many more. But if there's companies going to fight for business, why not let it be Microsoft? So as an investor, I actually like the move. I talked about that earlier. You know, why not? Let's get involved, spread your wings, take a piece of the LSE, and let's see. Hey, trading's not going anywhere, at least I hope for a little while. But this is your trade of the day for a couple of reasons. The first one is going to be patience. The second one is, and I've tweeted this out already, it's having the ability to sort of change up your game plan, right? We started the day wanting to go long on Microsoft, but as you could see early on, Microsoft just took off. This is the opening of the day. Takes off right away at 9:30, just keeps on going. It's like, what? So by the time we finally found it, I had to take a 249 break. Like, it opened the day down here at 246. It just started to rip up. You're going to see right here on the futures, this is kind of what we thought today, leading into CPI and then the Fed in the next couple of days. You're going to see the market very flat. This is a 5-minute of the NASDAQ. This is a 1-minute. You see where we opened up? It's an initial move to the top side, then a fade back, and now we're kind of topping out at 11,750. The same thing here with Microsoft. So we go long first. Our first take right there, 1149.50. So that's 50 cents. Our next take, let's get out in front of 250. Why not? That's $1. Then we held a third of it. It ripped all the way to the top side up to 252, but we didn't get out because, hey, who knows where the stock's going, right? Silly me. We should have got out. Comes back down, we reload the position, then we get it out up here on this top 251. So we don't take $3, or sorry, that's long at 249. Yeah, $3, but we get it back and we take it out at the top. This is why it's key. Look at that 251 level, right? We kept bumping on 251, in, out. Then we said, okay, let's go long at this area, right back at 250. That doesn't work. So look at the small cuts. Out, drop down, get long again, get back up there, drops it out, down. So our losses are like 10, 20, 30 cents. But look what happens. Then this is where patience is very important. Comes all the way down. I'm thinking at this point, hey, with the NASDAQ doing the move like it's doing, where are we here on Microsoft? Are we going to continue to fade down, or should we maybe take a short against a level? So this is where part 2 comes into play, patience, or part 1, I don't remember what I said. Be patient and wait for a level. So we load it up here, comes back in, and then some of our outs, sure, we get a lot out in the middle here. Why? When you're at a key level, this is where you have to take shares. Like, you have to be confident in what you're doing. Maybe right here, this first trade is maybe a half position. Okay, because we've seen it go all the way up. We don't really have any bottoms. We're not sure what's going to happen. I mean, look, if we don't get a piece out, we might get nervous. It fades right back to VWAP before ripping out. But when you see a key level 251, the trade is very defined. You can actually take your full default, really, if you wanted to. You could take 10,000 shares, 1,000 shares, whatever you're comfortable with. Why? Because this out is a line in the sand at 251. So when that came in, man, we just got most of it out. I mean, some of these are in the 60s and 70s, so they're good trades. Comes back in. There's some more at 50. Takes them out there. Takes them down below when we hit 249.60. So there you go. Just giving ourselves like 20 cents worth of risk. This is a $1.20 win all the way to the downside. How much risk do you really need to put on when you see a key level like that? Take the money. We get out on the way back up when it breaks again. So that's fine. Look what we did again. Came right back in. This is lucky. There was a report there that possibly the U.S. were sending troops to Ukraine, then they weren't, vice versa, back and forth. You know what happens to the market when there's uncertainty? We were sitting here 250. What happened? I was just chilling. I was, having my coffee, talking, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, boom, it rips right up and fills us. And right there live on the afternoon show, everyone was like, Sharif, I'm taking the short, we're in the short. Because Microsoft, and we tweeted it out as well, comes right back to that 251. So what do I get? 250, 80s again. My first out here, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, back down below 250, and we're still in some of this. Key thing here, guys, we'll wrap this up right now. Make sure that you're not stuck one way or the other. We first went long. We liked that LSE news. Went to the top, took advantage on a reload, lost a little bit trying to go long. But then we realized maybe we need short, or let's look for key levels. So just like you could play the long off 249.50, we chose the short, pay dirt on Microsoft. Pick your stock, pick your direction, have patience. It's your trade of the day.
Got to go where the action is today. That was top of the list. Microsoft was coming off that LSE news. Very out of nowhere, really, that LSE news this morning. If you missed it, $2 billion for 4% stake in the London Stock Exchange. Shout out to our friends at Refinitiv, also owned by LSE. EHang here, 50%, guys, just took out the high again on volume. Wanted to point out the volume here simply because how much of this move to the upside is just unwinding of shorts, more so than it is actual buying? You can see huge volume came in there as 11 got taken out. So ton of stops, probably just above 11. I was thinking even 1150, which was that area going way back when, and then above that 1350 before you get into serious levels. But a lot of shorts maybe coming undone here for EH on the way to the upside. It was about 12%, I think, on the short for EH. There was that. I mean, that one popped up last week, if you remember, when the reopening talks started, along with some of the other Chinese ADRs. Some of the smaller Chinese ADRs also popping to the upside. Let's get back into a few other things we were discussing. I mean, I had Microsoft, guys, top of the board here. Do we want to continue the conversation? There wasn't really much else as far as tech was concerned. I just saw, though, Google down for a 9th day. Relative weakness coming into play, obviously, throughout this group over the past couple of days, but Google specifically, bit of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, Google's not the only one. Of the few names, yes, their position.
I took a trade in Shopify in and out there.
Yeah.
We have to take a trade for it to show up. We realize that. So,
yeah.
Anyways,
Google,
go ahead.
Google being one of the names that's down in the NASDAQ. I mean, yes, Google's down, but For the most part, Amazon's flirting with flat, so that leaves Meta, Google, and Tesla as the main names that are down on the day. Everything else up on the day. All of the S&P 500 names at the top of the weighting, they're all positive. The lowest being Bank of America at 0.11%, and then you have Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Adobe, Broadcom, and whatnot. They're all up positive on the day, with the futures market up barely. NASDAQ barely up 0.25% here. S&P at least 0.6, but I think the big story here is going to be crude. And well, on the future side of things, it's going to be crude, but I think in terms of stock side of things, I think it's got to be Tesla, right? The big name down on the day. Oh, we lost the board again there, Shawn.
Why don't you? Why did we lose that? Oh no, we're not doing the rundown yet. I don't think. I think that's why. Yeah, no, I was going to talk about your Tesla trade because I just realized you're out of it.
Yeah, well, there was an issue there.
Oh, was there? Did you?
Well, no. There was an issue where I put my exit. So I ended up getting out of this. Remember, we were short at 168.50.
Yeah, it was monstrous.
And
no, 178.50.
Oh, 178.50. Sorry, 178.50.
168.50 would be a nice out.
That would have been a nice out. But 178.50 was the entry point on that short, and we got some out 177s, and then I ran a trail which got me out 172.5, which ends up being pretty much the top of where we bounced to, and then you saw what happened, right? We went sideways and we finally cracked that 170 and down we go. So the short's all the way up here. That's the first exit. Unfortunately, that's the second exit, and then we just continued on down. So definitely missing out on that double-digit winner, but hey, at least we captured from that 178 all the way to 172. That at least there's $6 there, and there's another $1 and change there, $1.50 there. So we did make some money, but obviously seeing the chart, not as much as we potentially could have made if we just actually had the stop in a different location than where we chose. Maybe next time I won't tell people where the stop is, because I've made it very clear where I'm putting my stop, which was somewhere north of 172.5.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Me and Neil don't believe in that stuff.
I don't know.
I mean, if a little show like ours can influence a stock like Tesla,
it's not necessarily influencing. It's just about
it's giving people more ideas.
Yeah,
I get it. Well, that's what our show is all about, right? And sometimes we do get stopped out because the levels we give are just so damn good, Arun. That's the problem.
That's the problem. In a stock like this, there's slippage, right?
Yeah,
So all it has to do is slip a little bit, and it just gets everybody.
Trust me, but I hate that. Like, you saw me on Remember that one day on Snowflake? I got out, and it was like a 50-cent hit, and then it ripped $5, and it was like, why not give it just a little bit more? And it's like, but you know, we're risk man. I always say this, like, maybe I don't say it enough, but I feel like we're more we're traders for sure. But I feel like once we're in the trade, then you instantly become a risk manager because we have to get in and out at the end of every single day. And you sort of do sit there, and that's what I do anyways. I manage the downside risk. Unfortunately, I don't think about the upside potential as much. I more worry about the downside for the risk. I want to talk to Hamza right now quickly. We will talk about Lucid. We never, $2, $3, $100, and we're not going to purposely forget about any of these super chats. But as you can see on the board, we do have RIVN. I'm still in RIVN. So Hamza, for now, I'm going to pass on Lucid, but we will talk about that very soon. Okay, the only tech name that that's wrong. I traded two tech names. I don't want to say AMD is really big tech, but we started the short, and again, just shorting off the pre-market highs when the market was sort of back and forth. We wound up making money on AMD. It's a good trade for us. We got out of the way when it broke through 69. Should have taken that to 70. I said earlier this morning, I'd like to be short as long as we're below 70. It only spent a cup of coffee up there, 25 cents up for about 5 or 10 minutes. Then we went back to the downside. Now we're going to figure that out. Maybe we'll short 70 again when it comes through. The other big tech name, I didn't trade it yet today, but I'm debating on the short here. It's just now it's lined up with the market, Apple being up 0.3 with the market being up 0.23. Apple did have some nice negative moves today, I feel like. Like we were short, like this is me on Friday, right? Short Apple, short. So my bias has been short, and we've waited for that to happen. The key thing is, man, that 143 came in. Look at this 143 from Friday. We're kicking ourselves for not going long on that level. And it looks like right today, it's that same level for the short. So we could wait for 143 to come back for a short. Other than that, man, it's just been up and down $1 the rest of the day. You thought Friday, and I'm not going to downplay our show because we want people to make as many trades as possible, profitable ones, when they set up. It's just, you are now officially an hour and 45 minutes away like I know CPI is not till tomorrow at 8:30, but we're an hour and 45 minutes away from this market closing and then basically waiting for tomorrow at 8:30. So I wouldn't be surprised unless someone leaks something, news comes out about individual stocks. I feel like Apple and I'll leave the futures to Arun, but my initial opinion is the trading on a lot of these big names, and that's why I'm going to go to Microsoft right now, unless key levels are hit, I'm really a little bit hesitant to put on real risk here heading into what is going to be part of the two most important days in December. I mean, we have the rebalance on Friday, and then PMI, I believe. Did we confirm that was Thursday or Friday? So there's big numbers this week, and we're only in Monday. And what's happened so far today? Remember at the beginning of the day, and again, Arun and I, although we have a lucky 8-ball here, it's by no means a crystal ball. I said there's going to be a move off the open. That happened. Then there was a fade where we touched the pre-market or those bottoms again, ripped back up. And since then, man, a little bit of a high, a little bit of a low, and we wind up basically right where we opened. This is where we opened at 8:30, right there. 11,700 on the NASDAQ. We're at 11,714 right now, just in the middle. So going over big tech trades, my number one trade of the day and the trade of the day, period, was this Microsoft waiting for 251. So let's continue to do that. I am still, just like I was on Friday, Brendan, I'm still biased, even though the market's up. I'm biased to the short until that CPI and Powell changed my mind.
I was just checking some levels here on Rivian. Here's Rivian, down 6% right now on the day, just made a day low. I mean, we're coming into, what is that, August? No, June and July was the last time we were down here for Rivian, right back to 25 and change, guys, after Rivian and Mercedes-Benz will, quote unquote, pause this joint venture between the two that they announced back in the summer. So I was reading through this. Apparently, Mercedes is still going to go ahead and build this factory that they were going to use for this joint venture for these vans, delivery vans that they were going to make with Rivian. But Rivian will no longer take part, which the market is not liking.
I really like that truck, man. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here, especially in that space. I mean, I know we have the Ford F-150. They put that into a Lightning, but that's not really produced yet. They're having some issues, obviously, with chips and things like that. I still love Ford. That's my... If I have a number one play in any of these, it would be for Ford. But if you come to my screen right now, I mean, we already talked about this. Here's Rivian, right? Short. It's the number one name. We talked about it. Mercedes pulling out. Let's see if that 28 level means anything. Short sell, right? So we had that. Here it is right here, all about the short today on the sticky note. Follow me at TraderTV Shawn. And that's exactly what we have. And we still have Rivian on board right now. Here's the short early. Took it at 26 and never got up to 28. We could have taken that. This is when Arun was talking about, and I said that, remember at 8:45, there was a bump up where you could have got that 178 that Arun had earlier on Tesla. You could have had the same, which turns out to be the high of the day for Rivian. But again, at 9 o'clock, these trades are scary. I'm not scared of them. It's just the liquidity. It's hard to put on a decent amount of shares when this happens. So I was patient with it, waited. Unfortunately, I lost patience, and we shorted it at 26.30 there and took some out, 26 flats. Those are good trades. It bounced all the way back up, respected this 200 period. So we got short again in here for Rivian, and now you're seeing it's just basically straight to the downside here. Now looking to take out some of these levels, and we're short now Rivian 26.70. So we're short Rivian now, $1 in the money. Really, I'm looking at this level right here to get out. 26.80. So if we break back above 26.80, we'll get out of Rivian. That's a 50-period break. The last time we broke it, we went up about 5 or 6 pennies on that. I'm not expecting it to break with much vigor now either. So we're going to wait out for that. Let's call it 25.85 and get out, and we'll put $1 in our pocket on Rivian. It's a pretty sick name to the downside. It's been pretty pukey here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So out of the last 9 days, you're going to have about 1 up day in there. I know it looks like 2, but that's kind of like a gravestone candle there. Upside move, and then it just got hammered right back down. So Rivian's been in a mess. And then Hamza, I said I wouldn't forget about you, so I'm not. It's the same story for Lucid. I probably should have shorted Lucid today, even on this Rivian news. But Lucid, unfortunately, guys, this chart even looks worse. And I have to do, because of my investment in Ford and Amazon and things like that, I tend to, I don't know why Lucid, for some reason, is only going back to September. That's not when it So my chart's not loading up on Lucid, but it's been an absolute dumpster fire to the downside here. You still have the Saudi money, apparently is still in there. I'm starting to second guess that if possible for Lucid, but you're way to the downside. Stocks like Fisker, Lucid, Rivian, Nikola, Workhorse, all these names just continue to get crushed every single day. It's actually amazing how well, to be honest with you, Tesla seems, although it doesn't seem like Tesla's holding up that well, but when you're looking at some of these other charts, maybe Tesla is the real winner out of all of this, because right now, man, these EV names just continue to get destroyed, and I don't know. I don't really have an opinion of Lucid, sorry, Hamza, other than the fact that, you know, this 880 looks pretty damn good to me as a short spot. So for me, I like the long in these names if they break back. So I think Lucid back break of 9, then maybe you say, hey, if we can break 9, then it gets through the last 5-6 days, and then you get that garbage out of the way, then you maybe have some upside. The main problem with this is if you go long on a break here and then you're long at 13 and you come in the next day and you're down here at 12 and change, what do? Do you hold? You know, so some of these moves happen after market and you don't really have your outs. So I don't know, man, pick your poison. I just feel like, honestly, Arun, there's more work to be done. I mean, you're driving a half electric vehicle, a hybrid, is it? Or is it full?
No, it's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid, and that's a Toyota, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I'm just saying a lot of the bigger names are getting involved in the EV/hybrid space. They've been in hybrid. I mean, Toyota's had Prius for a decade, right? Some of these names continue to, to have to battle the bigger legacy names like a Ford, like a GM, like a Tesla, to be honest with you. Yeah. So I feel like it's a strong and long move for these companies moving forward, and it's going to be a tough one for them to get to profitability. So
yeah, and that's the thing with Rivian falling off here quite a bit. Once you go, that's the problem with the chart looking like this. It looks fairly aggressive, but then you look at the chart itself, and you're like, are you going to find any support? Into that 24, you can find some support, I would imagine. That, this chart does look negative, but at the same time, there's a few levels of interest here that could potentially catch you on the bid. So as we come down to 25 into 24, I would imagine there's some strength here that you can potentially find. So a decent move that bounces off the 25 could be in place, but Rivian obviously trending down. It's had some issues. You're seeing Tesla. All the EV names get hit today, and it doesn't surprise me. Although, like you mentioned, Tesla is stronger of the group. They are also the originators who kind of came up with this whole thing.
Yep.
So it makes sense that they have the upper hand. They've already spent the money on the research and all that stuff. So these other names that are trying to do catch up now, coming up with like trucks and hopefully deal with Mercedes for delivery vehicles and whatnot. They still got to develop wasn't there an issue with the battery supplier? Was it Rivian or Lucid where there was supposed to go partnership on a battery and then the other company pulled out?
Right?
There's they have to now develop their own batteries and whatnot. So I would definitely, Tesla has the advantage, the upper hand in this, but at the same time, you can see the entire group falling off a little bit. You can say there's a potential support, but we're going to get to Tesla next. I'll talk about when we do, but the dailies don't look that great across the board in all of these names. So at some point, we'll catch a bid, but I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon.
Just be aware, Meta popped up on volume here, guys. Looks like New York State will be the next to ban TikTok from state-issued phones. So Texas was last week. Now we're getting, looks like New York State going to ban TikTok from state-issued devices. So watch out for Meta. Snap could move on that as well. Yeah, I know you guys were talking about Tesla there, but I wanted to mention this simply from the fact of, day lows 6%. The market's positive right now. Heavy volume once again today. I think it was 2.5 or 3 times relative volume once again for Tesla. I was reading a story over the weekend that was simply suggesting if Twitter's, there's no obvious financials to back this up because Twitter is now a private company, but if Twitter's P&L continues at the rate at which it is going, meaning losing money, will Elon have to step in and sell more in order to help try and prop up this Twitter venture? But yeah, it seems like there's no bid here.
For Tesla? Yeah, no, I don't. And also we have to, I don't even know if we still have that. Is it a Z or an S? We talked about that with Sharif. Tesla versus Tesla.
I'm going to look this up. I need an answer for myself.
I don't know if there is an answer. I think it's just a matter of how you pronounce it. Look, I don't know what is going on with Elon Musk anymore than anybody else does. I mean, Tesla's a private company now. So, I mean, you could basically do, what is it, $8 a month times however many new blue verification badges there have been. I know they're trying to revamp that as well. And I mean, who's to say if Tesla continues to lose money, why would he have to, like, he's going to have to sell Tesla shares. If Twitter continues to lose money, he's going to have to sell more Tesla shares to fund that company. I don't know. I feel like he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar a little bit there with some of his comments and trying to bring a voice to the people. And I like Twitter. Obviously, it's a big thing for us here at Trader TV, to get our message across and all that. And I think Twitter will continue to be a viable platform. I mean, but I don't, as an investor in Tesla, I'd rather him not have done anything with Twitter, because not only is it giving some bad PR to Elon Musk, but that's also possibly, and I did read about this, I don't think it's going to be true, but if you don't like some of the decisions that he's making, for example, if and when Donald Trump appears back on Twitter, does that negatively affect Tesla? Should it? No, of course it shouldn't. But there are going to be some people out there that say, oh, Elon Musk, I'm more maybe now against buying a Tesla because of some of his views politically. I don't know. I mean, we can all find out his views before any of this Twitter stuff even happened. But again, it's just putting it into light. So to answer your question, Brendan, I mean, I think, this pressure that's been put on him because of now being owner through Tesla, through Twitter and Tesla now, I feel like there is going to be some pushback from the people. And I don't know if that's what started. I mean, this is just, even from December, I mean, we've known about what it was, April, wasn't it, where he first made his opinions felt on Twitter. So, I mean, Tesla hasn't been performing well for a very long time. As the consumer, our charts are going to be the greatest for this, but I guess a theory that we could all have is that as the consumer weakens out there, which apparently, with inflation going where it is, maybe there's just not as much love anymore for spending $100,000 or, I mean, I know there's different versions of the car, but spending that much money on new cars, and then maybe for now, Tesla just continues to bear the brunt of all of that. We talked about it from a longer term frame, and you're going to have it up here in a minute. Maybe Tesla does have some support. Let me just call it for you up quickly, because there was moments in time, obviously, where Tesla just was hot fire, and I think that can return pretty easily. Here's the weekly on Tesla. Adjusted for splits, which our charts don't do, which is why I am pulling this out for us a little bit here. Our charts won't show this. But here's Tesla. There has been some talk about 140, 150 possibly being an area of concern for TSLA. So we'll see if that can come in. But right now, it's been pretty disastrous. But you guys know we can get this all back. So I say we as a shareholder. It was just $300, Arun, back in September. So you're cut in half in 2 months. Well, I mean, that's September 12th, we were at 305. So right now you're December 12th. So 3 months, you're cut down in half. That's pretty nasty. So I would say, man, stay the course with Tesla, but I wouldn't be buying more until we see what happens down here at 140.
All right, so in keeping up with the long-term look on Tesla, let's take a quick look. I did look it up, by the way. Apparently, based on how it's written, based on Nikola Tesla and his background as Serbian, based on how they pronounce it, it's apparently S, which makes sense. How it looks is how it's pronounced. A Tesla is supposed to be how it is. I could be wrong. I could be lied to on the internet, as it happens all the time.
The internet's always
right. But for
right.
now, I'm going to say Tesla based on what I've read. Anyways, going back to the chart. This chart, this is the monthly chart, adjusted for splits and whatnot. This is kind of where we're getting to we're getting to that inflection point, that long-term inflection point, and this has been, I would say a couple of years in the making at this point, right? On the way up, when we initially took off here, all the way down here, again, adjusted for splits and all that stuff. When we took off all the way here back in late 2019, early 2020, we stopped around 167.50 through 166-ish, right? Let's just say on the way back down, give it some flexibility, call it 160 even, right? If we're gonna catch a bid here, it's got to be through here. Pretty much we're in that territory where if this is going to turn, it's got to turn very, very soon. So with all of this weakness coming down, the last bit of support on that huge run up is right around here where we're at right now. So the next $10 in Tesla coming on down is going to be very important. 160 is going to be the reference price that I would look at. If we get below that, it's not going to be a good look on Tesla's long-term chart. It does have potential strength. It could easily turn. If it can get back above, I would say $200, at these prices with these splits, if it can get back above $200, we could be pretty much in a good look. You could be set up in a good way for the long-term chart. But the way it's been moving around today, the way it's been moving around lately, it doesn't look good. So I would definitely keep an eye on that 160. Obviously, that low going back to how long ago? It was a few days ago, actually. Well, not when I say a few days ago, I mean like right here. It's November the 22nd. It's about a high here is 166.19. So call it 166. I know some of you guys in the chat were targeting 166. So if we go after that low and continue going lower and go after 160, it's not going to be a good look on Tesla. You see the trend line very clear at this point. It's going to be across the tops starting back on September 21st. So you can just put it across the top. It is clearly in a downtrend. It's not looking good, but I would say if we're going to catch a bid in the next $10, it would be the point to catch a bid. All can change. All of these the charts and setups and all that stuff can change in a heartbeat in the next couple of days, right? Even if Tesla has its own thing, it's going to be influenced by what the market's going to be doing. Maybe it has a couple good days and we catch a bid off the support zone, but I would definitely keep an eye on Tesla as we move through these 168s towards the 160. If we don't catch a bid, it's not going to be a good look.
Bit of a volume spike there on VMW. You can see not a huge move on the overall chart, but now positive, and then some. 3 top executives apparently to leave, according to the Dow Jones, from VMW. So that caused that volume spike there. We had Carvana bottom of the list there today, simply because it was such a wild trade Thursday and Friday last week. We come in today expecting maybe some more. Not so much, though. It's been a range-bound kind of back-and-forth day for CVNA.
Yeah, just some talk there. I saw someone say, we did talk about having Fahad on the show, but no.
He didn't reach out. Here's the problem with Fahad. Before we continue on with CVNA, here's the problem with Fahad. He talks this big game.
No, but this has nothing to do with Fahad.
And then he just, where is he? Ask him when he shows up. Where is he?
You didn't let me finish, man. I told him not to show up. That's why I'm trying not to throw him under the bus.
I'm still going to throw him under the bus. Because we didn't necessarily.
He still should have showed up with his confidence. Let me explain to you the idea behind Fahad, because we're going to work on that. First of all, let's talk about Carvana first, and then let me go to Fahad. But he's, and by the way, someone said he got the Black Plague. No. They just booked a day off. He's not. It's a day off today. Neil is a day off. The only person, Brendan, is the champ again, because I know he's still feeling a little under the weather, but decided to come in to throw it down for you guys. So it's Brendan is the one who's still feeling well. I don't want to say he's not, but everyone else is a day off. So Fahad's a day off, and I will explain that in a minute. Okay, so we all love Fahad. Now I can't stop thinking about it.
I mean, listen, it doesn't mean you hate the guy just because you trash the guy.
Oh, no.
I'm trashing the guy all the time.
Oh, no.
Same thing.
I don't think you're even trashing him. You're being honest.
Well, I'm being honest.
He has a lot of bravado, that guy.
I mean, he does have.
You know, he sat down here and claimed to be the best trader.
I mean, he can be the best trader, but he's got to show it.
Exactly.
Every time we ask him to show it, what does he do? Not show up.
All right, I'll address that. I'll address that. Okay, so right now, Carvana. It's been a nice name, man. It's been a nice name for us recently. It was on the sticky note today. I really liked it. I even paid for shorts. So here you go, Arun. Arun never pays for shorts. Nope. I paid for them and don't have a damn trade on it. So money thrown down said sewer today, or flushed down the toilet, because we don't have a trade on it. But you know what? It's not for lack of trying. Well, it is. I mean, I'm not forcing anything. Realistically, it's this high that I feel like I missed. It was about 513, 514. They're into 520. We talked about shorting that pop that happened right at 9:30. Should have been there and done that. But again, we just finished the show, wasn't sitting here. Missed opportunity on its only real move up today for Carvana. It based out at 470. It ripped up there to it went up to 515, and now it's just been fading out all day. I still like that short. I'm still here for that and nothing else. The reason why we liked Carvana was this top at $6. It's a 70% short float. Now, don't quote me on that. It's the highest number on, oops, that's EHang. Look at EHang shorting, by the way. We talked about that earlier. Brendan got that. Why is it going up? Has something to maybe do with that 19% short. But we always go over here, CVNA. Whenever I hear things like, it's the next AMC, it's the next GameStop, it's not. It could go up. What we saw in GameStop and what we saw on AMC could happen again easily in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. I'm not here to say that Carvana can't be AMC. It's just the chances of something going parabolic the way AMC and GameStop did. I mean, I'm hoping it happens again. It was fantastic for me, for you, for most traders out there. I hope it happens again. But here's Carvana. There's the short float, 70, 70, 40, 40. So it's here. If any name is going to be one of the runners, I've already stamped it. Carvana and Beyond Meat, I think both have very similar share structures to be able to do this. So with that being said, we still need to wait for it to happen. Whenever I see a pop up, it's too bad that my trades aren't in here from the days before. We had this move up, man. We had this halt here at 5.15. We had it up to $6. You guys know that we are in this trade. So I'm here for the long. I'm here for the long. But at the same time, if we were ever to start the day at $5 like we did here today, and had the chance to short it when it went to $6, that's a 20% move. I'm here to short that 20% move. Why? Because we have an out at $6. If it's gonna go parabolic, fine, I wanna be long, but I don't wanna be long until we break a previous high. So that's gonna be $6 for me. You know, the price target of $1, whether or not that gets hit or not. Long-term debt is trading at like, what, 38 cents on the dollar? I think the 5-year bond, corporate bond, that's not good. So we're going to wait to see what happens now. Are they going to have to raise capital? If they do, the stock's going to have to go to the downside again. Let's just wait for some more talk. Check out Wall Street Bets for Carvana. You know, I want to be short this name every day until we break 6. Once we do, I want to go long. I think there's a buy level at 4. So trade the middle for Carvana is all I'm going to say on that. All right, let's wrap that thing up. I know you're not going to say anything on Carvana. Now, what the Fahad news is as follows. Fahad and myself, and I think you as well, we talked about this, wanting to do like a trading, like almost like a journey. Let him learn how to trade, and then we would sort of teach him the ways.
No. You guys wanted to do that.
Right.
I just said, Fahad, sit at my desk and trade so I can go trade over there.
Right. You wanted to give it up, give your spot up to Fahad. So what we've decided to do is, and we're gonna have to talk about this, is maybe there is a segment or something where we can, Fahad's a great character, well-loved in the office, well-loved by viewers. Maybe we can do a segment, sort of like how we did Tuesdays with Tony, something like that with Fahad, where he gets on, we talk a little bit of sports, me, him, and Neil go back and forth, very good, and then we throw in some trading tips, and maybe he does kind of trade on the side, but it's gonna take too much time and effort. We don't want to sort of downplay really the journey to become a trader. Okay. And he doesn't have enough time in the day to really reflect what it takes to become a trader. So we don't want to downplay the hard work and everything that it takes to become a trader. And for him to learn 20 minutes a day from Neil and myself, we don't think that's enough. And it's not going to be able to go through with the trade. Like his long-term goal is, like, we need people that are going to want to be traders. And he just offers so much more to us and to the viewers than to simply be a trader that I don't want to pigeonhole him into learning how to become a trader. Okay. So the idea was, and Brendan, if I'm not saying this properly, Brendan, we were all in the meeting, that's what we want to do. So we're going to do something like that with Fahad, bring him on the show as much as we possibly can, and introduce some new segments with him because, man, the guy's such a character that it would be ridiculous for us not to bring him on board. And then we did drop the sort of the sad news, Tony decided to move on. I mean, that's it.
That's it.
There's no other story, man. There's not like anything about it. Unfortunately, Tuesdays with Tony, for now, permanently shelved. We wish Tony.
Find another guy named Tony.
We wish Tony the best of luck, and there's no ill feelings from anybody. But yeah, that was it, man. So yeah, Tuesdays with Tony. And unfortunately, you know what? Like, it's just he wasn't a trader here. He was more for his commentary and things like that. So we couldn't, there wasn't really a role.
He was an analyst.
It was a fill-in, yeah. An
He
analyst.
actually handles the
Yeah.
analysis side of the business. So for him, that's why he was so knowledgeable, actually.
Yeah.
That's
I know
exactly
he didn't
why.
say goodbye. I mean, there's nothing about it. It's just it happened quickly, stepped away, and that was that, and we never got an opportunity. So
Someone's asking, what about Stephanie? Well, she's over there, trading over there in the corner. So
let's
trading.
keep that on the wraps for now. Okay, so back to trading. So that was the story with Tony, and that's the story with Fahad. So moving forward, have you noticed the markets now? Maybe we're back to these tops again. So here's the NASDAQ right back to 11,730 at this top again for the top of the day. So I'm going to go over, look at our Microsoft. That is still in the money. I'm still waiting for a key trade on that one. I need to find something that we can get strong and long in. Roblox was a great trade for me early. We hit that at 32. First part out 32.40, next part out 32.70. We didn't get anything out up the top here. Thought it still had a chance to go. Once it broke 33, we got out. It looks like the problem is VWAP went up to 33.06. At the time it was 33, we took a 33 break. We got out at 90 there. So good trade for me on Roblox. Looking to get long again though as this market's starting to pop up. Wow, Tesla's still downside, man. That's still down 6%. I feel like there's something else, man, that we missed about Tesla. Let me just double check our watch list here because there's more stuff coming about Tesla. It seems like today's the 12th, right? So here's our watch list right here on Tesla this morning. I know we've already talked about it, and it's not about being unprepared. This is about showing up and making sure that you grab our watch list. And here it is, man. Yeah, impressive rally in a weak market. The company announced Friday plans to suspend production at its Shanghai facility for the final week of the year. So yeah. That's negative, right? You don't ever want to stop production in your most productive plant, the Shanghai plant. There it is, TSLA, spitting out a car every 28.4 seconds. Here's Tesla, just straight fire downside, man. Great short you had early, but since then, I guess that popped to VWAP there, 172.50. That was a short. Another pop there to 170 was a short. But right now we're well off, and I'm guessing a 170 is the next sort of level that we'll look to short on any pops for TSLA.
Yeah, this market's continuing its drift to the upside here. I mean, this is kind of where we started. When I started this morning, this was around, 10 o'clock, 10:10? I was looking for a long. I was like, I'm going to play the mid 70s against the high, which was 83.84. I was looking for them to break it, and then I'm like, you know what, maybe not. Maybe today's not the day. I'm not going to try to get into this fight here. It didn't look like we were going anywhere, right? I'm like, I don't want to put up the risk. And then we caught a bid late around 11 o'clock, pretty much as the show was wrapping up here. We caught a bid and then took off. Highs, stops go off, all that stuff. And then we drifted. And since then, since we're that run up here, we have just been drifting up, highs of 94, lows of 88, 87. Then we just keep bouncing up and down. This is what you're going to get into as you are waiting for numbers tomorrow. As Shawn said, after 4 o'clock, this market's just going to be quiet. Right? You really shouldn't have a whole lot of activity between today's close and tomorrow's 8:30 number,
right?
Unless there's some headlines coming out of Europe, Russia, whatever. So unless you have specific headlines that are going to move the markets, this market should not really have a catalyst to do anything except stay where it's going to be at. If it wants to peg at 4,000 going into tomorrow's number, then I guess they can do that. But right now it's up. It's fairly strong, actually, 0.72. The drift is real, but the drift is actually causing a decent move, up 28 points on the day here as the market continues on up. NASDAQ's a little bit weaker at 0.4 as the market goes a little bit on the slower side there. I mean, we had some weaknesses. Obviously, Tesla is a name that's weighing down the NASDAQ a little bit here, so that's negative. And then Meta's there as well, and Google, another name that's got some weight in the NASDAQ, so that's on the negative side as well. So it makes sense that they're lower than the S&P, but at the same time, they're both positive. It's a good, for what it's worth, it's still a good move overall here in both indexes. And then crude is closed now. Well, we're in electronic trading on crude now. The pit session's closed, but this is kind of the break that set up. And this is a 73 run. We were looking for potential fades here from 72 going up into 73, but it just wouldn't slow down, so we never took it. And then they cracked the 73. That level's gone now, but to be fair, It's gone as resistance, but it will be there as support because we now have that previous congestion area going back a few days between 72.20-ish going up to 73. So I would definitely keep an eye on this for potential longs. I did step into a crude trade. It didn't last that long though. I took the trade here and then I'm like, you know what? At this point, I don't want to put any more money on the table. I'm done. Like I was just like, you know what? I can't. Not today. Let's just wait for tomorrow. And I feel like a lot of people may be in the same boat where they're kind of checking out of today's trade. And I feel like that for sure. I don't have any positions. I don't see any positions that I may take. Maybe if futures market makes a crazy move, whatever that may be, I may step in. I took a look at crude. I took a look at nat gas. And then I'm just like, you know what? No, I'm good. Tesla is going to be the only one.
Just go short Tesla.
I mean, if I had it still.
Come on.
But it's just one of those things where it's gotten to a point, like I said with Tesla, it's gotten to a point where it's within $10 of making a massive multi-month, it's at a multi-month inflection point within the next $10. From 168 all the way down to south of 160. If we're gonna make a move, it's gonna be an aggressive bounce off of this area or we're gonna fall apart through 160, at which point it's really, really bad. So I don't wanna step into Tesla south of 170, knowing that is the range that you're working with, especially on a much larger chart. So definitely Tesla's gone, but at the same time, I wouldn't step into Tesla at these prices. Maybe if you get a bounce, you can reassess later, intraday-wise. But for now, I would definitely be looking at it. I would not be looking at it, I mean. And then Microsoft, obviously up 2% on the day, has broken through that 250 and is consolidating. Actually, Shawn, I think you're short on Microsoft. I was gonna say, I'm like, this breakout consolidation.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready to get punched out, to be honest with you.
Give some strength to the 250 break on the daily too. It looks fairly solid, but again, regardless of what these stocks are doing today, tomorrow it changes very, very quickly. So maybe conserve your capital. If you're not already positioned in and you're not just managing, it's probably a smarter idea to just conserve your capital and just come back tomorrow and deal with what this market's going to present tomorrow in terms of opportunity, because you know with the CPI number coming out the day before Fed, there's going to be some fireworks, whichever direction that is. There's bound to be some fireworks. We saw the last one was what? It was 100. No, it was a 200-point drop followed by a 200-point gain the same day, if I'm not mistaken.
No, the last CPI?
One of the last couple ones.
No, that was the 7% day. There was
one day where we fell apart and then recovered the entire thing after the open. And
it
was like
Friday. That was the PPI.
No, not this week.
Oh.
This was like, okay, anyways.
There
was a number where we fell apart on a 830 number where it was like a decent 150 to 200 point move down, which followed by a full recovery after the open. So there's going to be some fireworks. More of that, I would imagine.
Was Powell's speed? Someone said when Powell took
this was 8:30 in the morning. The Powell run was like a couple Tuesdays ago or Wednesdays ago. But anyways, it doesn't really matter when or how. I just know that tomorrow.
Oh, you mean the initial move was down, like almost initially, and then within the first couple minutes it bounced?
No. The initial move was a trend down, and then by the time we got to the open, we started making a move up, and then we recovered the entire thing throughout the day. We went from negative big to positive on that day. And it was like one of those days where it was like 200 points down, 200 points up, like, damn, okay, that's the kind of move we got.
It's just like, now everyone's just trolling in the chat. It's like, someone says it's CPI, then someone right after that goes, yeah, I remember it was PPI. Then someone just goes, it was non-farm payroll. Then someone...
It could have been non-farm payroll, to be fair.
Yeah.
It could have been.
I feel like...
I just don't remember the exact situation. I just remember we fell apart and then recovered the entire thing.
Yeah.
And it was a very big move, too. So I'm just trying to say that there could be more of that tomorrow.
I mean, we only have now, or less than, just over an hour away from closing the markets and then getting ready to go. So, Brendan, I just want to task you a little bit here. Not that you have enough to do anyways. But, I mean, you gave that story about the... Snapchat, about TikTok with New York. So I don't know if there was any sort of follow-up on that because, it has started to go. I'm just trying to look for a trade idea right now because I like Snapchat with that idea. I feel like, I just feel like there's legs to that story, right? Like, if New York State, we talked about it last week, I think it was it the state of Texas or something, came out with something very, very similar. And then I noticed Meta So for me, breaking that 115 on Meta right now, I actually really like that trade. It's come up. That was that 115 bounce around this morning. I feel bad breaking along right now because we're just talking about the market might not move, and you don't necessarily want to break top out, but like Brendan just gave that story not too long ago, and Meta's sort of just been drifting to the upside. It just, for me, it seems like it doesn't, the volume, I'm assuming that was right around here, 220, something like that maybe, but it really hasn't been followed up by a great amount of volume, but at the same time, it also hasn't been followed up by a lot of selling. So I'm sort of torn what to do. Like what I'm getting at is 115 is either a long or a short. I like to prefer the long because we are breaking higher on the NASDAQ right now, but I want to be net short into CPI tomorrow. So that's interesting. And then I look over at Snapchat as well, and I think that we want to trade names that are moving. I'm very close to punching this Snapchat 40. Like, I feel like we get a 40. I'm going to take this. I'm not pretty close to doing it. I am going to do it. Once 40 breaks on Snapchat, I think we get to 50. I think we get back to the day's high. So I'm going to play Snapchat instead of Meta, just because, again, it's a little bit of a quieter move for Snapchat. I feel like it can drift a little bit. I feel like I won't get trigger happy like I will for sure on Meta. So I'm feeling like Snapchat is the play that I want, breaking through 40. We'll see if we can get it out at 50s or 48s or something like that, because we do have a 200 period here at 37 and then back to 30. Let's see if Brendan has anything more on this.
Just threw it in the chat there if you guys want to have a look at it. This is the headline, though. It's being discussed, apparently, in the legislature in New York City. But that's, can we? There we go. Thanks, guys. It's a New York Post with this, just coming out this afternoon, saying that, again, state-issued devices, same as Texas that we saw last week, will no longer be able to install TikTok. So that's being discussed in the legislature.
I'm just watching all this because it's New York Post. Like there's just all this like controversial headlines up top. Yeah. That was sad about that dude. That Wall, was it Grant Wall? There was a guy there in Qatar that he was covering the World Cup. I don't want to talk. Maybe it's getting too political, but passed away from a heart attack. And apparently, the dude was in good shape and everything. Damn. So I don't know. There's some talks about that. But okay. So yeah. Sorry. I knew it was only state-issued devices. I knew that, not to ban it for, common, devices and all that. But I think it's a step, right? It's a first step there. And of course, because they're in control, so you work for the government, or if you get a state-issued device, TikTok will be banned from that. I don't know how they can do that exactly, but I guess they can ban certain devices and or follow the App Store, I guess, downloads on those. So we'll see what's happening. I'm going to put a tweet out. Where's Justin? Actually, let's put a tweet out. Let's put maybe I'll put it on my Twitter, actually, higher or lower than expected CPI tomorrow. I think that could be something fun to see what people think, generally thinking on CPI for tomorrow. So we'll get the expected rate. You can get that from investing.com. Brendan probably has the expected rate right in front of us, and then we can go over or under. But here comes Snapchat right now. So I'm going to get long this name, guys. I'm going to try to hold it for 10 cents. So it's going to be a new position alert coming through for me right now, breaking through 940 on Snapchat. Let's just take it. It's where VWAP is. It's drifting higher. The market's also drifting to the high side, and there's some news. So let's play it. Maybe it gets, it's a New York Post story, so, and again, like, no offense to that. I don't know much about the New York Post other than if it was Reuters or something, then maybe a little bit more credibility there, but I like that break. We're above some. Let's break it to the high side and see if we go. So that's a trade I'm working with. Microsoft, it's right back, man. We could reload this trade. Let's just reload it. I'm gonna take a little bit of shares here. We'll take a little bit. I just punched the 77s there. So there's a trade we just took. Here, put it up here. So we just got 77s exactly. So now we're short 77 against 251. Break it and we're out. It's been up here before. We'll see if we can't make a little bit of money. This position is literally 40% of what these positions were. So it's still a loser if it doesn't work out. But we can well withhold a 20-cent hit right now on Softy because of the damage that we've already done on this name. So let's not get too carried away and throw money away. But here it is. We're looking to get 1-to-1. Pretty simple here on Microsoft. So, but the market is rallying. We're breaking the day's high right now. We've already broken out of that. Are you, I know you're not in a position, but is there a level that you would trigger into a short or long on the ES right now?
Today?
Yeah, just like right now, because this is a decent move up. My scalping leads me to think that I would look to short this for the NASDAQ, but you don't have an opinion similar to that.
No, I'm not going to step into the futures market. I mean, the only position that would have made sense was the one from earlier, which we gave up on and then it took off. If you're not positioned down here in the 70s, it's hard to justify a risk, I think. You can argue, hey, you know what, north of 4,000, you're trying to capture a few points here and there, and that's a different strategy than what I would use. So for me, although we cracked 4,000, I have no clue where the stop is to the upside. I mean, Apple broke through that top end channel that they've been kind of in as well all day. So everything is breaking to the upside, sure, but at the same time, to start new trades at these prices, it makes the risk a little confusing. So I'm not going to step in, nor am I going to chase into this one. Going back to the CPI talk, I found it. It was October the 13th. 13th. It was a CPI number, actually. I came in at 6.6 versus 6.5, and you see the pop, right? Pop and then fall. And so it fell about 150 points, actually, and then proceeded to rally up the entire day and recover that entire move. So regardless of how the CPI number comes out, this just shows that volatility is there and definitely will present a bunch of opportunities. Even if you don't catch the initial move to the downside and are looking for a continuation, you may have a reversal move that can come in play. So this is the move that I was talking about, and this is the kind of activity and volatility that you want. And I would think that the day before a Fed, this was just on a random Thursday, it seems like, in the middle of October. So if you're going to do this on a random Thursday in October, I can only imagine what it's going to look like on a Tuesday before Fed, when you know the Fed's going to be taking that number into consideration for their current meeting. So definitely one to watch. This is the kind of volatility you can possibly get. And this market is trying to position up, and seems like position up in front of this with a decent rally up. Would I set, although I may not take positions on the day, I could set up levels that I can work with for the CPI, right? I mean, the high from yesterday would work. 25 to the top end. Why not? If we can get above 25, breaking the CPI. To be fair, I can put these levels down, but it's really not going to make that much of a difference because the CPI is probably going to blow through all these levels anyways. But we can get an idea of how to play with them, right? If we get above 25, we can probably go for a long all the way up into like maybe 4,100 or so. Clearly, flip side is going to be around that 39.20, 39.25 mark. There's some support down there going down to 3,900. So if I were to do kind of just remove all of this, I just set this up for myself actually, just so I know what I'm working with going into tomorrow. I would put that as the bottom. I can maybe mark off that high and then another one around 4,100. If we're above one of these lines and you're able to capture a CPI move that breaks through one, you know that the next checkpoint is going to be 80 points away, so you can maybe get a run. But that's all you can really do. On a day like today, I'm not, I mean, like you see my position board, I'm going to be flat. I don't see myself getting into too much. I think we're done. The one thing I do want to check into is Tesla. How's Tesla doing? No, it bounced to 169 and change. It does look like Tesla trickling up as the market actually takes off to the upside. And I'm sure you were, oh no, you're short on Microsoft, okay.
Yeah, Microsoft, I mean, it took out 251, so we wind up getting out of MSFT there. I was just looking at RIVN. I mean, we're short. So the market ripped. We got out. I mean, we took a very, very, whatever. I mean, you saw me get in at 80 there. It was a small hit. We got out there for 20 cents. I mean, Microsoft's my number one stock, and that didn't even really bleed it, so it's fine. But at the same time, like I said, man, a loss is a loss. And I feel a lot of the time here on the show, and I think that you're right, like, we get a little carried away trying to put on a little bit of trades, but we don't have to do that. But right now, a nice move up. We've wicked up a couple times to 20. So I'm going to go back into the short now, see if we can make that 20 cents back. Maybe it was just a quick run. Snapchat basically went to that 40 and stopped. So, went right to 40, 39, stopped. It's only down 2 pennies from there, but that seemed to have stopped that move as well. Let's just wait to see if there is something coming through for tomorrow. And thanks for doing that. Some of the levels there to expect. The core tomorrow. So what do you think is more important, core or year over year? Because I'm going to put it up on my Twitter account. I'm going to go with...
I would think core would be more important.
Yeah, so that's 6.1 they're expecting there. 6.1 core year over year, 7 0.3 as expected, Brendan.
I want to clear up this Tesla thing because it's almost weekly now this happens, it seems, but this just popped up in front of me. So, I mean, take it for a grain of salt at this point. Now, I guess the factory itself is denying that there will be a production halt the last week of December. I've never heard of this publication, so again, take this for what it's worth, but that just came across in front of me.
I mean, what is it worth? I mean, that's the, rhetorical question. It's like, this is the problem with investing, in my opinion anyways, in Chinese companies and, just the state media, things like that. What is the right report? Like, if you're going to close the plant for a week, that's, literally the car is flying out of there. That's a problem, and that would be why Tesla is making that move to the downside again here, right? So just be careful on what you're seeing there, and thanks for that report there, Brendo, for sure. Definitely something to look at. All right, Rivian, quick talk. If this breaks 80, we're going to get out of that one, as the market is just sort of grinding higher here. So yeah, let's not lose too much money here, but market grinding higher. It looks like the long is sort of in charge right now, and we don't need to get into a position just for the heck of it, but we should look at some names that are maybe relatively weak versus strong. Under Armour up 10% today. That could be a name that we look to fade. That Tesla's always pretty interesting to trade. DraftKings 1.8%. I'm just looking, my eyes are up there because I'm trying to figure out is there anything that we want to look to trade here today. Rivian, we still have that short, 80s coming in. There's Microsoft. We just got ran to the top side and then it just came right back down. I'm pretty much done with this name, although I think the short might be good, but it doesn't matter. Microsoft up and down there. We just lost a little bit there. AMD maybe has been a trade that we always tend to do well on. We have good reads on AMD. There it is, back to 70 again. So, you could go short AMD against that high of the day. I just think that these are the right things to do. Take it against levels. But I don't want to lose 30 cents. It has to come up closer to this before I do anything about it. The market just made a jog upside. It could easily just fall back in now. We're just back into these same levels that we were at on Friday. But again, a nice move up 0.68. I don't really see anything here, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah, it's pretty
maybe
quiet.
there's some ideas in the chat that we can sort of play off of.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm going through, right? I'm not going to take any more positions. I'm, for the most part, done on the day, so I'm going to be quiet, take whatever I've made through Tesla, and call it a day. But in terms of, somebody was asking, Skyfair, I know you commented quite a bit here about, should I short the futures? I don't know. Just because it's going up doesn't mean you necessarily want to short it. It's going up with strength. They just cracked 4,000. It depends on what kind of strategy you kind of use. If you're doing for the quick scalps, maybe you can play counter trend or against the momentum, against the strength, but I'm not sure. That's why I step away from the market, right? When I'm not sure of how I want to approach this market or what the chart looks like, and if I don't have a clear read, I don't get involved, right? So you may see me flat a lot here in the afternoons because especially the way I trade is I build up positions in the morning for a much longer move, and then as the trades either work out or don't, I flatten them. And it's highly unlikely I get positions that set up in the afternoon at the same time that the futures market sets up as well, right? So for me, as the futures market is breaking through 4,000, I need some names that have been solid that are also setting up. And the only name I can think of that I vaguely remember that was kind of setting up was Apple, but that was here at the 143 break, and that happened, earlier. So if you weren't on top of that, going after the 143 break on Apple, big index name, why not? That it's hard to find another name. Obviously Microsoft's been going sideways as well, and it probably is taking off to the upside, I would imagine. Yeah, through that 250 going up to 251. But again, on a day like today, if you haven't made money in the morning and you're chasing after it in the afternoon, it's going to be very hard to come by because the day is, for the most part, they're doing their end of day kind of positioning for tomorrow. It's very hard. It's way too easy actually for you to just snap up and then come right back down towards the end of the day. And I don't know how to read it, so I'm just going to stay away from the market as a whole. At one point, I was in the crude contract as well, and I kind of just walked away from that. Again, it gets tougher, but why waste your capital, your mental resources, like you're obviously you can be exhausted by staring at the market, right? You're constantly processing information that you see in front of you. So why exhaust yourself on a day like today when there's going to be easier opportunities on days where, like tomorrow, where there's going to be very aggressive moves that are going to move much faster, set up probably a little bit cleaner as the day goes on. So I think it's better off to just save yourself for that kind of day if you haven't made any moves today. If you have made moves, then you're just sitting back and just what was it?
Save yourself.
Not Fahad. It was,
Farhad?
Sharif was saying he's just chilling. He's just chilling. Oh no, Luca was saying that. He's just chilling. I mean, I'm just chilling at this point too. There's nothing else to be done, I don't think. But doesn't mean there's not opportunity. It depends on how hard you want to work for it. And me, I don't really want to work that hard for it. Not today. I don't think this is the day to be putting in that kind of effort, especially this late in the day, going into a CPI number in the morning.
All right, so everybody, 25 votes right now. Let's go over to the poll. I just put it in the chat. Maybe Bears vs. Bulls can retweet this, or not retweet it, but put it out on our chat there a couple times. Let's just see. We only have 25 votes. I just put it in. We'll see if this can settle out before 4 o'clock, just to see what you guys are thinking here. Tomorrow, expected core, 6.1, right? So let's see. I should have made a. I can actually edit my tweets now, can't I? Here. Oh no, I thought I could. I'll figure out if I can. I should have put core in here. But there it is, 6.1. We're going to see higher or lower. Right now, 53 votes. Pretty mixed right there for tomorrow. I think it's going to be lower. Let's just see what happens. But there it is, 6.1 is the core. So I'll look to edit that, get the wording in there properly for everybody. But it doesn't matter. That's what we're looking for there. So we'll see if that's coming through one more time tomorrow. Yeah, that's thing. Yeah, 7.2. That's what we were just talking about there. Month over month, year over year. So we're looking at the core coming through. I'm going to put that in there and edit it. All right, so yeah, we got out of Microsoft just to check out RIVN. I mean, RIVN just keeps on going down here. We're at the bottom. I mean, we sort of clocked this out at 25.80. It just didn't get there, so we're going to wait to see as RIVN now making new day lows into a market that's going to the upside. So this is going to be a stock that's the only name that we have on right now is RIVN, and it's a bottom side move. So, it's going opposite there. Check in on Snapchat just to see what that's doing. Looks like we're going to fade off that 40. Not moving. I'm going to cancel that Snapchat idea. If it works out, it works out for hopefully for you guys, but not enough volume in it. Meta did go to that 115, gave us a short. We could have shorted that again. Maybe that is the right play here for Meta. Shorted against that high. Meta's down on the day. The market's up. That makes a little bit of sense. So let's try that. What is that, 80s? I'm going to try. Again, though, I don't have conviction to try these plays. They're not really super set up here right now for me on anything. So Google flat on the day, that could be a trade. We've already broken through that. 92.50 was a great area for Google there today. Right down here, 92. I mean, a lot of absorbing there, breaking the 92.50 and then going to the upside. Oh, Amazon could be a play. We like Amazon. So Amazon up to 90. We like that level. What did I write down on here? 91. So we're not quite there yet. But we are making moves upside now for Amazon. So again, pretty solid. Do we really want to short this trend though? Doesn't really look like it right here. I need something with some oomph to it. That E-hang could be a good one. Nucor's up to 150. You know what, Arun? I hate to say it, man, but it's probably just Tesla. Every time I go over there, it's lower and lower and lower. Now it's 168.20 bouncing. We just got to 169 and got hit back down. I mean, we're still waiting for that 170 pop. Maybe it's Tesla. Now we only have 50 minutes until this market closes. So NVIDIA, people want to talk about. Rivian's already been good. We could fade Rivian more, guys. NVIDIA short? Okay, let's have a quick look at NVIDIA. I do like the name. Ooh, wow, yeah. We're not there yet. I was going to say 170. If that was 175, then I could maybe short against that 176. But yeah, this is ripping nicely on the daily chart. NVIDIA definitely made some great bottoms and starting to go back upside there. Yeah, wow, big, huge move for NVIDIA today, up 2.5%. Still moving, but if you look back on the day, not much. Where does this relate to where we were the other day? It already broke. That's not a bad little level there, 173. Maybe if we come back to 173, that's the long. I just don't want to short anything with what's happening, man. We're ripping.
Yep.
I mean, the NASDAQ, the ES took, you didn't take a 4,000 break, eh? I thought you might have liked that on the ES.
No. For me, it's just, I mean, like when we're talking about ES 4000, we were sitting at, as soon as we took it, we were at like 4003 or so. And then we just kind of trickled up, and then boom, 4010. And then now we're above 4010 and hitting 4011. And it's still, obviously, it's running up. It's ripping is going to have to be the word that's going to be used here as we run strong into the end. But especially going into this end of day stuff, it can get very slippery very quickly, right? I mean, as much as it's gone up 10 points in the last little bit, I think there's also a possibility that we may have to give up some of this as we get to the end of the day. Keep in mind, Imbalances has got to come out at 350. So Tesla could be, I would imagine, especially with the kind of day that Tesla's had, Tesla would have an imbalance of some sort here. We've seen Apple, when it's had its big days, Apple has an imbalance. So if Tesla brings in an imbalance as well, this should be an interesting one. I would suspect, given its move, that it's going to be to the sell side. I mean, with a move like this, it's hard to believe that they would come out with a buy, but who knows? At this point, you never know until it comes out. But I would suspect that Tesla has an imbalance. If there's no imbalance on Tesla, that'll be interesting as well, because why? Why is there no imbalance on Tesla when Tesla has taken out its like closest low that it's kind of put in the last little while on a day like today? So with the market rallying strong, Tesla still stabilizing. I suspect Apple is still moving strong as well, and so is Microsoft. But there does seem to be some sort of gravitational force pushing it upward towards 40. 4025 is a number that comes to mind on the futures, and the only reason it comes to mind is because, well, that's kind of where we were putting in highs here on Friday morning. We were right there, right? That's that red line right there. That would be the high. So if we're going to go for it, I would suspect Friday's high would be in line for a potential target. But it does look like there's decent strength coming into the end of the day, and if it's going to run, it's going to run. It's going to do its thing. Crude is also taken off now. After being around 73, it's now at 73.36. Obviously not as much volume, but still everything seems to be heading in the upward direction going into tomorrow's CPI data and CPI number that everyone's kind of waiting for. And the core data does not include food and energy. So CPI core is no food, no energy. The year over year expected at 6.1, at least what I'm seeing here. Should be an interesting one. I'm very curious how this market will handle if the core comes in better, but the year over year, just the overall number comes in lower, because that's expected at 7.3. So you have 7.3 overall and then 6.1 on the core side. And I'm very curious if they both come in one under, one over. Which one has more relevance? I would suspect the core does, but if that's not the case, given how gas prices have fallen in the last little bit, then I imagine the top number, the year over year, would actually come in lower, right? If you're going to care about gas prices, then of course with the cost of oil going down, I would suspect that would reduce the top number a little bit there.
I'd agree. I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit lower print. It would be my guess on that. The lower would be my my vote there. So let me see what's going on in the poll right now. A little bit higher right now, 56 versus 44. Right now, over 200 people voted. So yeah, we're going to see about that right now coming through. Yeah, it's interesting to see because our viewers are pretty much, you know, mixed, both bears and bulls. I feel like when we go through it all and we have comments back and forth here live on the show, and you know, that's a good gauge, man. Our viewers are a good gauge of what possibly the market is thinking. Okay, you know what, man? All right, 10, whatever, man. Let's take this, 10 cents in the money on Apple. We'll go a little bit of dropping down the money. Can't believe we have to do that on a 10-cent win. But you know, we short Apple. So the reason why I picked this name, again, we've talked about it today. Let's go, the market has just made a move upside. Apple has been, you know, it's a name that I've been looking to go, again, my trades were here last time, looking to go short. Here's 144 right here. Came into play last week on those levels. This is actually Friday afternoon. Sorry, this is... Yeah, no, that's right. So this is the 9th, yeah. So nice little move there coming in, downside, upside right here into the close yesterday. Sorry, that's Thursday. Here's Friday. Here's 144 again. So this level came into play twice. So here it comes into play again right now, although it's you know, I have to pay a little lower. I shorted a little lower than 144, but we haven't been there yet. So let's see what happens around 144.30, 144.20. But there it is, man. A nice little early take on this as it starts to move back. All right, I mean, I got to take, honestly, this is a little bit of a better move. There we go. Let's take a 66. We're short at 86. There's a 66. I mean, you know, that's already more than 1-to-1 on this trade. We are going to get out if it broke 144. So instantly put on some profits here. We lost 20 cents on Softy. We're 20 cents in the money on Apple. It's give or take one and the same, but we're trying to be patient. We waited for that 144. We went around. I went to lots of stocks, man. First of all, I'm already out of 40% of it, so do as you wish. There's that 115 trade on Meta. It's kind of the same thing. I just decided that with that story hanging out there, even though Meta's down and the market's up, I just would rather stay away from Meta. It's a huge move. I mean, they're both huge moves up. It's just we've really been favoring, all right, Apple, you know what? Honestly, Arun, I know this is a little silly, but here's the dip down for Apple. Let's just take advantage, man. The market just pulled back, like basically the first real pullback that we've had in the last hour, or last half hour, I guess. That's kind of a pullback there. But nice move up, nice pullback. Whether or not we get back to the 50 period at this point, we have enough left on. We have 40% left as we get out of 60. Let's just see what happens now. If the futures pull back, we're there. Yes, sir. You know, face Apple. Finally, a nice little move to the downside as we're 30 cents. Arun, I might just take this and hold the flyer for the end of the day. We can hold that 20% left. But there it is, man. At least we put on a trade, took some money. I'm always interested at these even levels, right? So we just went back down to 143.50. I feel a little silly. I'm going to put a bid out there as close as we can get it. Let's go to 53 there. If we can get a 53, we'll take that. But hopefully Apple does pull back a little bit right now for us. So far, so good on that Apple short. Maybe you have it. Maybe you don't. Very, very sticky right now. Not big share size for me, and zero share size for Arun. Brendan, you in anything right now?
Do not. Just saw this one, though. Microsoft down tick here. I mean, the overall market did, too. We heard about this deal last week, if you remember, with Sony. They were going to offer Sony to make the next Call of Duty, I guess, franchise. Apparently, this deal now includes subscription. So it doesn't say how much of the subscription. I assume there's a portion that would go to Sony for making Call of Duty, but Softy with a bit of a downtick on that.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, that's why Brendan's here, man, to bring the news, and then, you know, we'll try to judge it as what's maybe happening as relation to the market. And yeah, that's a good call. I mean, it just ticked down a little bit there, Microsoft, bouncing off view up at 250.80, but, you know, as antitrust goes, it's 60 billion. It was like 68 billion or something. I said earlier 50 billion. It's just a huge purchase, Microsoft and ATVI. Obviously it's Microsoft has seen value in this. I mean, they like the call. We'll see. I mean, the Call of Duty was a big franchise, still is a big franchise. You could see Call of Duty. Activision, just in the last couple of days, has started to go back to the upside, which is kind of funny because this story would lead me to think that, you know, the more they look into this stuff, possibly the more likely it is that it does get well, it is already scrutinized, but maybe it doesn't happen. What was the price of that again? 80, 85, something like that for a cash value there. But we're going to see, there's the jump up, 66 all the way up. So we'll see what the cash value of this is exactly. But again, nice move to the upside on ATVI. Microsoft's one of the strongest names holding above the 50 period. We talked about that. And again, another big, strong stock today for us. So Microsoft continues to hold out some of these highs. We'll look to see, you know, if Activision can follow suit. But for me, I don't trade buyouts, so I'm going to leave Activision alone on that. Good out for us right there. We did get that out for Apple, so we'll ring the sirens, and it did come down in. There's the 53 fill. So now we're basically flat on this name, just waiting for it to take out that 144 upside, and then we'll go from there. I'm losing my voice now, not feeling any ways, losing my voice. My kids tonight, I'm going to see Grandma. My mother's coming through, as my dad, he has his own business. It's tough to get him during hours, but 5 o'clock, my kids have one of their Christmas concerts. It's violin time.
Ooh.
So I'm going to be happy. Maybe they can put the violins away for a little bit because I don't know. I don't know if that's just hard to learn or my kids are horrible at it, but it's like, It's they've only been practicing for a couple, maybe 2 months right now, but that violin is yikes.
That sounds like a fun time.
It's a very, very fun time.
All right.
That's tonight.
Oh, that should be fun.
I'll try to take a video and I'll see if, I don't know, it's tough. I don't know if I'm allowed to take videos inside the school, but worst case, an audio clip may be coming to my Twitter feed later on. You can hear all that. Yo, what's up? Yo, haha, Shawn, what's up? Always rise? What's up, man? Grandma saves. No, Grandma's coming to the concert. She's not saving you. I told Lucas, I said, I can't film. We're going to do some evergreens after. I was like, I can't film, man. My kids are expecting me at this concert. So I'm leaving here right away, heading home. The concert's about 5 o'clock. I'm trying to make it there on time. Hopefully that happens because it's an after-school program. That's why it's happening after school. So that's when their Christmas concert is there today. So, yeah, we can look at coin for sure at some point.
Yep. Okay, one stock that has been going up all day, and I think Sharif was talking about it, EH. I'm sure you guys have been watching EH from 750 and change all the way up. They just took 11 for the second time now. The initial move north of 11 was interesting because obviously with big round number, you want to see how strong it's going to be, right? It goes up. It pops through 7 a few times, right? It gets all as high as 11.11 and then falls right back about almost 90 cents there down to 10.20. And just now, well, not just now, but like about 10, 15 minutes ago, they started that move again towards 11, and they cracked it all the way up to 11.50 or so, 11.52? Yeah, 11.52 or so. And now we're coming back to 11. Now, for anyone who wants to kind of make a final push and try to squeeze some money out of this market, I would just keep an eye on this 11. Clearly, they're having an issue with it, whether it's to the upside as resistance, and now as we come back down to it, is this going to hold as support? If this does not hold as support, I would suspect that 10 is back online as a potential target here on EH. It's been obviously in a clear uptrend all day. It's been running strong. It took one little consolidation break here around 950 and then did its second leg, but we do need to keep an eye on 11 even and seeing whether it can actually stabilize above as it comes back down, if it can stabilize above it or not, because big round number, that's been a problem all day. I would suspect that's going to be an issue. Yes, we're getting underneath it, but let's just see how it trades through there. Another name that I'm going to kind of just let you guys take a look at here. Of all the names, I know AVGO doesn't get a whole lot of play on this show here, Broadcom, but it is an index name in the NASDAQ. It does make a difference. It's got some weight as well. It is taking out this 550. The alert I have is above 553, which takes out a multiple. It's a high from the 1st of December and also a high from Friday, where roughly in that price point, north of 53 kind of gets you to open the door towards 60. Obviously, you see the daily, right? 60 is next up, but I would definitely keep an eye on it, how it handles itself in this range here from 60 to where we are right now, which is around 54 and change. There's potential for this to make a nice little move, but they do have to clear 60 to the upside. There's going to be some strength here. It put in a nice little bottom base right through here. The way I would look at it is that's a nice little bottom around 470 initially going back to about June, and then they ran through it, respected that on the way back up here in about October, took another leg down, and then fully completed their reversal when they took out that 490 bounce there back in early November. So now we've put in that nice little bottom south of 500, preferably close to 475 and 425, so that big range through the bottom. Now we're looking to take out the top end of this range, or the top end of that little downward move that started all the way here. If we can get going north of that, I think that does open the door towards 620, 625 to the upside. So keep an eye on Broadcom. It does look pretty solid on the daily, which usually presents a decent opportunity on the intraday as well. As this futures market still running now at 16, as I say that, 40.16 to the upside, and quite the move here. Futures market has refused to die since we accelerated around 2:30 or so, as we are now very, very close to that 20 mark, and preferably Friday's high, 40.25.
And here we go, man. Awesome. Yeah, hopefully. Wow, 40.25. We're all the way back there, eh? Like, crazy. But okay, that's why I was like, maybe Arun would take that 4,000 break, but you've already explained that, so we can move on that. Look, the reason why I say awesome is because look at this Apple trade. Like 20, 40, 60, 80. We're out of 80%, and we couldn't have honestly, it couldn't have done much better than what we wound up doing. Like, we have the bottom, we took some out there for 20, then 25, then 30, then 40 cents. And if it does rip back up to the upside, we do have our targets to get out of the last 20%. And so this is where, and again, we talk about this all the time on the show, understand like, what the purpose of your trade is before you get into it, right? So Arun staying flat, looking for more opportunities on a larger scale, looking for key levels, playing more of the macro, heading into CPI tomorrow, and staying flat. But, you know, as a scalper, able to most of the time find some kind of opportunities. Now, it didn't work on Softy. We talked about that. We got out of the way. But there it is, working pretty clear on Apple. So here we go. Nice little move there for Apple. Looks like we're going to get taken out in just a couple seconds there on the high side. But notice one thing for sure here is Amazon. We just got into this position, and this one, I'm trying to go 30 cents. It's going to be a very, very similar scalp situation for me on Amazon. As we wait for that break to the bottom of 89.70, that's kind of where I'm targeting Amazon right now, 89.70. So if it comes back in and drops back down in to where that 50 period is, we'll get out. But I do think based on this move to the upside now, if the futures can completely screw us up here and change our whole trajectory. So, but if they continue to make a march to the upside, we just broke a key level of 90. I think this goes 30 cents. So that's it. I think Amazon goes. It's had a nice little drift upside. Let's see. We've sort of absorbed this 50 period the whole way. Let's just see now if it continues its trend higher. I think we can hit, we're well above it. Let's just see if we can hit 90. I think that's a level that we could do. 90. We're at 90. We're thinking 30 cents higher. So that's kind of the level of concern for me now on that trade. We're going to get a piece out at 90.30 because that's the one-to-one risk to reward. But so far, so good. Let's see where we go from here. What's up, Brendan?
I just saw this note. I can't seem to find where it's from, but a few people circulating this note suggesting JP Morgan's trading desk is expecting an S&P rally of up to 10% on a soft CPI reading tomorrow. So, I mean, it shouldn't really matter for JPM, but took out the highs there on a volume spike when that kind of popped up in front of me, as did the market, guys. So JPM kind of bullish for tomorrow.
10%.
Was that into the new year, Brendan, I think? I think that's probably what that means.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, it can't just be on
day.
one day. I was going to say,
Well,
like that's kind of nuts.
As Neil's favorite artist, Justin Bieber, says, never say never.
I mean, I would.
Do you know that song?
I've heard it. I'm sure I've heard it. It's just one of those
things. Don't tell Neil
things.
I said that's his favorite artist, because then he'd get mad because I think it's One Direction was one of his favorite artists.
I mean, you can't hate on it. I listen to whatever comes on the radio. I got no hate for any of those. I mean, if there's a Justin Bieber track that's on the radio, why not?
If you looked at my iTunes, you would think Taylor Swift was my favorite artist.
I mean, I've heard Taylor Swift a lot on the radio.
My kids are both like that. Hero song right now. They absolutely love that song. So her new one. So that's been bumped in my car
Yeah, that
right
one's
now.
catchy actually.
Hey,
Anti-Hero.
it's me.
Anti-Hero. Yep. Yeah, that's the one. I've heard that quite a bit on the radio. That song gets a lot of radio play.
A lot
of radio play.
Holy jeez. I mean, it doesn't even stop. It's like we go from like one hit station. Now I heard the song. Go to the next one. Oh, well, we're still in Taylor Swift. Oh, the next one, Drake. It's like, you know, pop is really being controlled by a few right now. That's for sure. On the radio. Justin Bieber was killing it at the Leafs game, by the way, the other day. You know, the Leafs, and again, maybe this is a little bit over, they have points in their last 14 games. No losses. I think they're 10-0-4.
As a Leafs fan, this is what you cling to. They have a 14 game point streak.
Yes.
That's what you got to cling to, because you know what happens when playoffs roll around.
That's going to be the problem. But hey, you can have fun in the regular season and then just like...
We kill it in the regular season.
We do.
And then the playoffs roll around, and then we see the Boston Bruins and said, uh-oh. That's what happens.
Yeah, the Boston Bruins are sick. I mean, there's so many sick teams right now in the NHL. I'm done pretty much. I like watching the NBA, but honestly, the way that that's going right now, this is my beef. So like, you know, the Lakers come to Toronto, their two best players sit, because why not? There's 82 games in a season. How dare they play 70 of them, you know, full pay, not full play. Imagine you went to a Leaf game like Austin Matthews, who's, you know, at this point, you know, one of the best, if not the best player in the NHL. Connor McDavid's there as well. You think these guys take games off?
It's
And
a
you ever
different
heard?
sport,
I mean,
though.
playing hot is it different?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the
body
load
goes-
on your body is different.
Right, it's more in hockey, right?
Well, no, because
I mean, why can't LeBron James just say, "I'll play 20 minutes then today"? Why are they taking the whole game off?
You should take that up with him. Fahad's on load management too.
People are
apparently,
taking it up with these guys, but unfortunately, in the NBA, it's a player-run league, and it is what it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't take it up with Fahad is right, take it up with Fahad. Anyways, I was reading some articles about it, and it's just like even in baseball, 162 game schedule, and even load management doesn't really. Sure, they'll take off a game here or there, and there's a lot of injuries in baseball as well. It's just this whole load management thing was brought to you by Kawhi Leonard, who gave us a championship, and we really managed his load really well. That doesn't sound good. Managed his playing time really well when he was here.
Yeah, I would have gone
and
that far.
that has created this whole new thing. I know I'm not even looking at the chat because I'm trying to monitor his position. I assume that there's people that have comments about load management and whatnot. Okay, here goes Amazon making a move. That's now at 80. So hey, it's me. I'm the one, it's me, the anti-hero for Amazon right now. It's up in the money now, 20 cents. I feel like we could probably take this because now we're going to go 1-to-1 on Amazon.
Yeah, as it takes off here on the futures, I mean, at this point, like, damn futures, you couldn't do it earlier, huh? As we are now sitting at 40.17, very close to that 40.20 mark, and probably going to make a run towards the highs here, unless we get some crazy imbalances that are going to be on the sell side from Tesla and Apple and Microsoft and whatnot. But Microsoft and Apple are running up fairly strong today. It's just Tesla that's having some weakness on the day. So I would suspect there's going to be some buy-side imbalances. NASDAQ almost up 1%, because the S&P is already past that. It's at 1.25 on the day. NASDAQ almost up 1% here on the day as we are getting near the end. And the imbalance is coming out in about 20 minutes or so. Decent run up as we get strong. It looks like fairly magnetic movement here towards the highs from Friday, which is the high exactly is 40.24. And we are sitting at 40.18.5. So not that far away. It's just a few ticks away. If we can just get going north of 20, that's one stop run away from getting right to that 24 mark. And this market can get real hot real quick when we take out some stops. So if anyone's still involved on the futures market, as it still runs to the upside, should be some decent movement as we get going. I've gone through my charts here, see what else I can potentially set up for another day. Obviously, it's hard to set something up for another day when you have to deal with the after effects of a CPI number, right? All these stocks that you may look at in terms of levels are going to be quite far away from any sort of level, whether it's to the upside or to the downside coming out of a CPI number. So all I can really say is just be prepared, set some wide levels if you need to. And one thing is, go for index names, I would suspect. So index names such as Apple, Microsoft, Amazon should be some big movers. Tesla's on the docket as well. On the S&P side, I would definitely keep an eye on, Brendan brought this out, JPM. JPM's obviously with their trade desk expecting a 10% move. I wonder how JPM is up 1.73%. It's an index name. It's at the top of the weight somewhere near in the S&P 500. So it definitely going to be one name to watch here, especially going into tomorrow. Brendan.
Checking Oracle here, one of two rather big names reporting earnings this week, doing this right now. Maybe just a break. The overall market looking the same, but heads up Oracle making a run here into earnings.
I feel like I read Oracle. Okay, no, I didn't read it. It was in my scanner early, and I was like, why is Oracle on my scanner today? It's on the volatility scanner. I was like, and this was barely moving too. It was like 80-20 when I put it up there, but it was probably just the amount of interest that was in the name.
There was some TikTok. I keep going back to that stupid story out of New York there, because Oracle and TikTok, there was talk about housing of the servers through Oracle and stuff like that, because right now they're in China. So as far as I know, ByteDance and all that is storing that data, which is why there is such a problem with that whole talk. So maybe Oracle, something about that. But hey, Brendan just said the answer. It's into earnings. So that would make sense for Oracle. We'll have a quick look at that. There's Amazon, man. We got it out. That's a 1-to-1. So that's already a pretty good one. Now we hold. That's it. It's finished. So I'm going to hold this now. Whether or not this breaks this 50 period or not, that's going to determine the trade. Now the 50 period is up to 85, so we already can't lose on it. We put this trade on board. We have our targets. We already took out half. We talked about that. We wanted 20 cents. There it is. We took it. So now we'll go to to something else, hopefully, and be able to make a little bit of money on somewhere else. But right now, that's Amazon. It's starting to move upside, so that's a good trade. We're getting very close for Rivian, the same kind of thing. We've really held this one all day. I mean, we took it really early, 10 o'clock, and then it's just faded. Was going to try to get it out on this 200 period. Or now, I mean, it was going to be 80, so we've left it to that. The 200 period is now 83, so I think that that's going to be a good little level there for us to sort of respect. That's going to be 25.80, just making sure, yeah. So we break back above that. Let's get out of our Rivian. That's already $1 in the money. And that's that Tesla 168 still dancing. Look at that AMD, missed trade opportunity, breaking back above 70 now. I feel like we missed that one, 69.80 or so. You know, that was a good break right there. We had both lines above us. We could have had that there on that one, so that's a misser. Let's check out XOM. We saw oil today, obviously making that crazy move. Arun talked about it one more time. Wow, XOM almost back to its highs, it looks like. What is the 52? Oh, no, sorry, 116, not 106. I thought maybe it was 108. 52-week high is up there for 116. We actually were at 108 before, and then now we made some new highs. Yeah, we've talked about that with XOM. So a nice fade down right into that 50 period. Talked about this last week. I still think there's a lot of runway for a lot of these names. So XOM still continuing to work, I feel like, and looks like it wants to break out even more. I mean, this is a great 1 minute chart there. Took down that 200 period. Rest is history to the upside. Wow, 105 and change going. Meta, as we get short here, I got to get some water. Meta, we're looking, my throat is way dry here. 115 right there, so it did break and came back. Remember we chose to go long Amazon? Yeah, it was go long Amazon instead of Meta. Why did I stay away from Meta? Oh, it was going to be Snapchat. Let me check out what Snapchat's doing here at that 40 level. Yeah, that's too bad. Right there. See, life of me right now. That was 40, man. We called this break a 40 at least. At least it's right for now. If you did take that break, I canceled it. I just didn't see much happening. But since the market did rip up, we were going to target around 50. So, you know, we'd be getting out some pieces now at 45. It's only a small little gain. It's just nice to see that we're right there. But watch out for 950 on Snapchat. But there's that 940 break. We should have had it. Realistically, we belong at 41. So it's not like it's a huge trade by any stretch of the imagination. But still, as the futures continue to go higher, I'm going to step away and get some water. We are looking at 90.30, taking out some new highs. And look with that. Before I leave, let's change our stop order now, 90.90. So alert, alert, alert. Most we can lose now is 10 cents on this trade after taking 20. So far, so good on the Amazon alert to the upside.
You can't stop. You started this, but now the chat's all over your load management skills.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm not here for good looks. Sometimes I'm here also for commentary on things, but that was pretty funny. Why? What are they saying?
I think you should read it yourself.
I read something. You're welcome, Donald Marshall. Thank you, Shawn. I'm reading that right now. But yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not managing. No, I have a light load right now on Amazon. So yeah, this is not. I'm not loaded up. Attention graphics. I mean, what's up to Dell out there? I feel like we can get a lot more funny, and creative graphics coming through at some point, Arun, we're load managing Arun here because you are saving it for tomorrow.
I mean,
you're saving the energy.
No, to be fair, you guys are waiting on Neil because Neil's the one that's missing, and you're going to have Neil, and so all three of them are going to be back together again for the Fed and the CPI number tomorrow.
Oh, I gotta get some water.
You guys are in for a treat. Neil's going to be back. Shawn's going to be, out of his load management, whatever you want to call that. I don't even know how to go. I don't even know how to proceed with that. I'm just going to leave it and let it go. But futures market is still running strong here. We're a few points away. We got fairly close here. 23.25 is the high, fairly close to yesterday's high here at 24. So it does look like there's going to be some decent action towards the end of the day. I mean, we saw it in the last little bit, but now the fact that they're getting that close to Friday's high would probably open up the door towards 25 and potentially some decent runs north of 25 into the close there. But decent action going up strong as the market continues up. Tesla, on the other hand, yeah, Tesla, that's Tesla, putting in new lows. I mean, we're not, yeah, well, no, not new lows. The actual low is 67.72, so we're fairly close. I mean, we're like 15 cents away from putting in new lows, but it does not want to participate in this rally to the upside, so decent move. Crude's going to the upside. You've got, obviously, the futures market. You've got some big names, Apple, Microsoft, still moving well. Amazon, decent on the upside. The only name that's still negative, let me take a look at Meta. I don't know why. I mean, Tesla, we understand how negative it is, but Meta is, wow, Meta refuses to participate at all. Boxed in here, 113, 117, just stuck in the middle. It fell from the high end of the range to the bottom end, caught a bid, and now back to the middle of the range. Meta's got its own thing going after that big drop here from 122, half 123, all the way down to 114, where we are now going sideways. The fact that it doesn't participate makes me think relative weakness. What happens if we open up below 113 to the downside? Are we gonna, like, if we can't rally when the market's rallying strong, how weak is this going to be when the market actually falls off? So it'll be an interesting one to watch here on Meta, as we continue on down. Oh no, look at that. As I say, Tesla was going after the lows. They catch a bid here after getting 2 cents from the low, or 3 cents from the low. We caught a bid and just popped like 70 cents. So here we are at 168.30 now. To the upside, still working, but again, with 10 minutes left, it's not even going to be about the whatever Tesla's at right now. It's going to be about what Tesla's going to bring in terms of imbalances as we get to the end of the day. 350, you know, the imbalances come out. Let's do this right now. This is what the imbalances kind of look like. These are from this morning. Let me remove the ARCA filter here. So these are the amounts from this morning. This is kind of what our indicator shows, and why does this matter? It just shows you how much size needs to be executed on the closing print, right? And if it's large enough, it's going to put some influence on the stock itself going into 4 o'clock, preferably after 3:55 going into 4 o'clock. There's 2 updates. One comes in at 3:50, one comes in at 3:55, and usually it's after 3:55. The numbers are still big and they stick around. There's going to be some pressure on the name. So let's see what Tesla brings to the table here. From this morning, it looks like Mullen was the big imbalance here at 525,000 shares that was left to be done on the buy side. Total imbalance is going to be the size of the imbalance plus the paired value, which is about 1.4 million shares on the print, it seems like, on Mullen, based on the imbalance size anyways, for them to execute this morning on NASDAQ. So wasn't that big on the imbalances today, but I'm very curious what some of these imbalances are going to be, especially Tesla, given how weak it's been, and given how they've taken out any sort of, support levels or previous lows that have been nearby. Today would be the lowest point that we've had in a long while, even after adjusted for the split as well. So keep in mind that I would suspect that this should open up the door for some imbalances. There you go, futures market coming off a few points now. It seems like they've kind of hit that top end, as Neil would say, capitulated near the top, near the high point from yesterday, and now coming off to 40.18. It's not that big of a drop, but at the same time, when you have a rally that's been moving like this, it kind of leaves the door open for a much bigger drop because there's no real support levels underneath, right? So it's going to come down to the imbalances and what Tesla brings, to be fair, but at the same time, we are open to the downside if the market wants to take a shot back towards 4,000 as the door, there's no real support level. So the door's wide open for a move back down if they choose to take it. Like I said from the beginning, I'm not getting involved. This is not the game for me right now, so I'll save it for tomorrow. But for now, Shawn, back from load management, back at his desk here, and I think he's ready to make a move on. Oh, you got a Amazon long.
The coach tried to bench me, but he wasn't able to because I don't play that game, that load management game. This is the same Amazon trade. It's, I wish I would have got benched there. We would have had to punch out of our trade when we were at the top there at 90.40. But again, this was just a name to put on. I wanted to explain to you what we were doing. Amazon was running. It was really, really looking at that 50 period rate here on the 1 minute chart. So it ran to the upside. We took our I mean, we got long at 90, we got out at 90.20, we talked about 90.03, 90.20 out. And then right now the 50 periods come right back up, so we have our targeted out. And yeah, man, we're going to take that out if it does present itself. So we're going to get out at 90. If it breaks back below 90, we'll give it a couple more pennies. That is at 89.95 right now. So we're going to sit there, see if we can't hold it for a little bit more and maybe take out that top. So if it does come back up to 90.40, I'm pretty sure I'll punch this one out. Take our 40 cents on that and just call it a day, because like you mentioned there, heading into the close, it's even, we only have 4 minutes now or 5 minutes, sorry, until the imbalances come out. I know Arun's already done that talk. It's you know, he does a great job of it. It's not overly wise to be in a position heading into that number, because all of a sudden Amazon could come, like Arun just mentioned there, could come as a big sell, and I don't have any sort of hindsight into that. I mean, right now, foresight, sorry. Right now, Brennan just gave it to us 4 minutes ago, 60 million to buy. Like that's nothing. So I'm going to imagine that there isn't right now any big orders one way or the other, and the market is falling back down to the 50 period. So we are getting very close to getting out of this Amazon trade. Unfortunately, the market didn't keep going, and we were pretty much right. Remember, I said today the top, and again, we could rewind this to 8:30 or 8:45 when I said maybe the top today would be up 1% and the bottom might be down about 1%. I think we've gotten pretty close to both of those, hitting them both. So yeah, you know, sometimes it's not rocket science. You do have to do the best you can, and sometimes that involves staying out of trades. And I think that although we kind of just like hinted that you were going to stay flat and things like that, you know, if you don't see a trade, that's the right thing to do. You don't need to be in these trades, man. We don't need to make these trades over and over and over again. You don't need to be stuck waiting for something to happen. If you see something, take it. If you don't, then don't. I mean, it's really that simple. No one's sitting here forcing your hand anywhere. So that's sort of what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit here, wait, make sure there's a trade coming through, and right now it doesn't look to be one. So, you know, downside move right here on the ES, bouncing off the 50. Maybe you get a little bit of a retracement back upside. It just ticked out to 11,800. You know, we had a nice 100-point move to the upside, stopped on a dime, and, you know, retraced back in. So far so good here, but, you know, this day is almost through. You only have a couple more minutes, 10 more minutes until the market's closed, and then we wait for tomorrow. So, yeah, funny day today. A lot of opportunity. You had to make them early. Other than that, we got a nice runner here on Amazon. XOM was a nice runner to the upside. RIVN was a nice move to the downside. And, you know, we still have this short and we have the Amazon long. Two names that have run a little bit here. So let's hold the ones that are moving and worry about the other ones later. But for now, so far so good on some of these plays.
Yeah, going back to imbalances, there was a question saying, oh, if it comes out of sell, does that mean the stock will sell off? Not necessarily. So you have to understand the imbalance is just lets you know what the end of day activity is going to look like on the official closing price, but it's a lot more complex than that. Initially at 350, you get the imbalance number with the direction and the size. One, there's a few things that need to make a difference, or that make a difference in how the stock moves. One, the size has to be big enough for it to matter. Like Mullen, let's just say Mullen came out with an imbalance at 350. Of the same size, this is from this morning, but let's just say it came out 500,000 shares on the buy side. Mullen's a 20-cent stock that has done 77 million shares. 500,000 share imbalance is not going to do anything. The book can handle it. So it has to be a large enough size relative to what the book can handle for there to be pressure on the name. That's one. That's at 350. Then at 355, you get an update from the interest from the floor brokers and their clients and who they represent. And the number has to make it past that, because a lot of the times what you're going to see at 350 is not going to be what's going to be there after 355. So it has to make it through 355, and if it's still big and it has been chopped up into smaller pieces or hasn't completely disappeared, then you may say, you know what, it's a relatively big number to the stock, it's still there after 355, and then as you get into 4 o'clock, it will get smaller. But if it's gotten to that point where it's checked off a bunch of boxes, then yes, it should put some pressure on the name as we go to the end of the day. There are some more complex things like what happens if too many people, because think about it, an imbalance of a buy-side imbalance means that to get a smaller imbalance or to reduce the size of the imbalance, someone has to offset it. So if it's a buy side, that means I can go long and then send an on-close sell, which will chip into that buy side imbalance, right? So if everyone decides to buy and then put an on-close sell, that imbalance can go from being a buy to being a sell very quick because too many people are trying to play the long there in front of that imbalance. So you do have to play that. You have to understand how it works. It's a little bit more complicated than saying if it's a buy, it's going to go up, and if it's a sell, it's going to go down, because there's also an index action sometimes. So you have to be aware of it. If you haven't watched the relationship, if you can get access to an imbalance locator of some sort, I'm sure your broker has it somewhere, just pay attention to it for a bit before you make any moves on it, because it's not as simple as buy means up and sell means down, especially when it comes to imbalances, because there's a lot of games played. You can cancel orders up until a certain, you can assign an order and then you can cancel that order up until a certain point. So there's a lot that needs to be understood when it comes to imbalances. It's not as straightforward as what it is, but it is a very helpful tool, especially when you're wondering, like say Shawn, he's in an Amazon long, if there's a sell side imbalance that sticks around after 355, does he still want to be long? I would suspect no. As we get into the imbalance, here we go. Imbalances are gonna be, I don't know what that is, that seems mixed, but anyways, CCL,
Apple sell.
lift, Apple, sell side, 1.1 million shares. Let's take a quick look at Apple. It's not big, but I'm just very curious what's gonna do to Apple. There doesn't seem to be much. I mean, there's GM on the buy side. That's going to be the last million share imbalance here. So CCL, Lyft, MTG, Apple, and GM are going to be the 1 million shares. We only really care above 1 million. I mean, FITB, that's not Fitbit. No, Fitbit went private.
No, that's gone.
So there really isn't a whole lot. I mean, there's not much.
Fifth Third Bank, I think.
Whatever it is. I mean, here, okay, Apple's coming off a little bit now, but at the same time, Apple, 1 million shares, I mean, that's not that interesting. At least it's not an Amazon imbalance there, Shawn.
Yeah, but Amazon, I was just going to say the same thing. I mean, Amazon, I should have just got out when I saw that Apple sell, but we're right here right now. A little bit of a break lower here, and we'll get out of Amazon. We don't have to be, like I just said, man, we don't have to be married to any of these positions. Let's just see what happens with it. We've already done really well on this trade. I don't see any Amazon, but as you see, the Apple sell created the market to go a little down, which started to help that. Rivian is at the bottom. I feel like this. Let's just close out our Rivian trade now. I mean, we don't have any need to sort of stay in these names, as we're just sort of waiting to see if the imbalance did have any kind of a impact here or not. So we'll see if we can get filled on Rivian at 63 or 64, and hopefully that will be able to come out very soon. Our Amazon, we've already sort of talked about that there. We just got filled on Rivian. There it is. So a nice little out. We'll go back to, well, it doesn't matter. We got that bid there at 64, so there it is out on Rivian. So that was a good little out there. And then Amazon, I mean, we could sit here and watch paint dry. I mean, I don't know if that's any importance at all, but Amazon to the downside. All right, what else is here? Lyft. Wow, Lyft is $11, man. Some of these names just getting absolutely destroyed. Come on, charts, let's go. Look, Lyft came as a sell, so you could see that was actually at 530. So something, brought Lyft to the downside here as well. Nice move up right now, so it's not really absorbing that sell side trade at all. Lyft has actually gone sort of upside there since this came out. Apple, what else we have on here that we might want to look at? Google, that's just Google by itself. A nice bid there. What is Google up today? Just over flat, I thought it was. Yeah, so there it is right now, up 1/4 of a point, so maybe something on Google. And then CCL, shout out to you, Daryl, in our chat. Look where this name is, guys. This is sub 9 right now for CCL. But wow, nice move upside there. That's a little bit of a, okay, we missed that as a runner there. We can't get them all, but there's CCL here on the daily. $9 right there on the daily for CCL coming into play again. $10 top. $9 bottom. Let's see. There's some area to be filled up in there. Although it looks like we're missing data, I guess. That's not over the weekend. So yeah, missing some data there, but bouncing off the 50 period of $9. Look, we only have 7 more minutes. Arun, it feels like you and I have been doing this forever together. And now we take a little bit of a break for a bit as we'll welcome Neil back tomorrow. I want to thank you again. Obviously, everybody thanks you here for everything that you've provided to us. But you're coming back on Thursday as I'm going to take some time off, and you'll be with Neil here on Thursday. So that should be a lot of fun for the two of you guys.
Yeah, as far as I know, this is the last time that me and you would be, or you and I will be together on this show this year.
Oh,
because going forward, Neil's done his vacation day. Well, he has taken all the vacation days he's going to take. So now it's left for you. I believe you're taking Thursday, Friday,
Correct.
and then the following Friday.
as
go
well,
to
the
this orthodontic
23rd going
appointment.
into the long weekend, or going into the Christmas holiday. And then I was meaning to ask you about the 26th. I believe you asked for the 26th off, but the 26th is the holiday, market holiday. So you may want to double check that. I don't know if you meant the 27th, but we can kind of go over that later.
No, I probably
But I
meant
would
the
definitely would
26th.
look into that. But yeah, going forward, it'll just be me and
Christmas
Neil.
this year is not because of where it falls. The Monday is the off day.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're not required for the 26th, that's for sure. But yeah, it's going to be interesting as the holidays go, man. Hopefully everyone can stay really healthy and you know, enjoy your holiday season. I know it's been a little bit of a ride here on our floor, but you know, more traders showing up today and people feeling a lot better. So Lucas is back in the building. I'm glad to see him feeling better as well. So as we go, man, it's been a fun day, and it looks like there's only a couple minutes left. So let's wait to see what happens. My Amazon is now 30 cents in the money. Why don't we just take this, guys? I mean, Amazon's been a really good trade for us. So we'll ring the sirens right now. Let's just see what happens. There it is, 8:55, 3:55 about to happen. We could get a little change. So we did go to the downside. There's Amazon. Oh, Amazon shows up as a bid right now. All right. But no, goes to the downside. So we should have got out of that. So let's just get out right now, not ask any more questions. Shoot first, ask questions last. There it is. So we out at 20 there on Amazon. I didn't even notice that bid. Talking too much there, but that bid was there, caused it to go to the upside, so we'll take advantage of that. Out a little bit there, nice win for us. We could have got out at 30, probably should have waited, but I saw that disappear real quick, so we got out. Good trade, let's close that. Good trade for RIVN. Everything. Good day today overall, man. So yeah, what else do you want to talk about? Microsoft. Huge move to the upside. Glad we got out of the way of that. We remember we were short. Nice rip up for Softy. Watch out for 252. I'm just excited for tomorrow. We're going to be live at 8:25 tomorrow, so a little bit earlier than normal, and we should be able to go. Oh, the bull fell down. Thanks, Justin, for that one. Wow, what a bullish market move here. Up 1% now. I don't think either one of us were expecting that here into the close. So congratulations for everybody that's long. Wow, win is back to $87 right now. That's I gotta check my account for that. That's been a nice trade, long win so far as well.
Yeah, you might have noticed that earlier the bull was flat on his head. He couldn't figure out what the market was doing, but now very clear as the futures market looking to take out Friday's high. Very close to, I mean, we're probably going to take it out. We're at 23 right now. We're 1 point away from Friday's high. Not that it makes a difference. It's just, I'm just saying, for the sake of the strength of trying to figure out the strength of this market, clearly very strong if we can take out Friday's high, which was to the downside. So the bull guy, he's ready to go. He's not on load management. He's ready to go for tomorrow, and I guess he's suspecting a move to the upside. Who knows? Who remains to be seen. To be fair, going into tomorrow, I'm looking at the calendar here. There is the
bull had load management today for a bit.
Yeah, he had to take a sweet time with it. There is obviously the CPI tomorrow, but there is also something
Why don't you
else.
put it on the screen so people can see what you're looking at if you want?
No, I'd rather not.
Oh, it's
yeah, I don't want to do that. The German CPI as well, the Harmonized Index of Consumer Prices comes out at 7 a.m.
All right.
So if you're in the FDAX, be prepared. We're going to get some news out of there as well. And then obviously the 7 a.m. Number coming out of the GBP regarding their employment situation as well. But I think the big one is going to be the German CPI, or the Harmonized Index Consumer Prices, going into then the North American or the U.S. prices as well.
Yeah, I mean, you are logged in, so I'll show it anyways here. This is what Arun was looking at. Just from investing.com, we do have a calendar up here, so it does show you everything that we're looking at today, tomorrow, this week, next week, things like that. There's some great filters, so if you're not whatever country you were looking for, you can filter it out. So if you don't care about these European numbers, you can filter out US only, so on and so forth. So I think that this is an absolutely great tool to look at. It's investing.com, and it's your economic calendar. You can find some other websites with that as well, but that's what Arun was reading off of. So just wanted to talk about that, because not that we're not, that's just something, and I saw why. So we don't want to worry about that. Sometimes we're logged in. If you remember one time, Prad was logged into something, and the next thing you know, he started getting texts from
Prad
random...
is...
Well, because he was logging in like live on the air.
Prad's
so
level of security
right.
regarding like all the stuff that he does, I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Like he's got his private chats showing up on the screen.
I don't know. I mean,
he's logging into websites using his username and password on the screen. I'm like, what are you doing? No.
He's learned from that, though. I feel like he's not doing that. Bots are watching this channel. Yes, they are. And we want to say thank you to everybody, not to bots, but hey, if they're going to hit the like button, then we're going to say thank you for that. We didn't ask for likes this morning, not one damn time. So hopefully we can do it now again, and we can ask you guys for some likes. Please hit the like button. It's the only way we get this out to more viewers and create a better chat room, create better trading ideas and experiences. Wow, Amazon. That name is really clocking higher. So again, man, congratulations anybody that took that trade with me. Long 90 break. It's 50 cents of the money. I mean, we took 20 cents twice, but wow, huge move to the upside here at the end of the day. I mean, I don't think, nor myself or Arun called this kind of a move. I feel like we were talking about it being a little shallow this afternoon, but it seems like it's quite the opposite. So it's CPI tomorrow, and they like it. So you tell me what this means for tomorrow. A huge run up into the close as the countdown is now on. So we only have 10 seconds left. It's going to be Justin on the bell. So we're excited for that with now only 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, Amazon finishing the day at 90.40. That's going to be a good little look there for us as the market. Wow, big time movement upside. What does that mean for CPI? We're going to check out in a second here. Well, we'll find out tomorrow at 8:30. Remember, we're going to join back live. 350,000 subscribers. I got to get a new banner for that. We're a little higher. Let's see. Let's double check this poll. Thank you so much for the votes, man. 400 votes on the poll right now. 60%. Well, 55. I mean, that's about as mixed as we can get. So we're going to wait to see. The poll is now going to be closed. Thank you so much for coming through on it. Let's see where we go, man. 55% versus 44. I selected lower. We're going to wait to see. Remember, it's core. So we're going to go X Auto, X Energy. What's up, Brendo?
Yeah, I mean, we go out on the highs here, guys, into that print tomorrow morning. So somebody liked it. 1.4, or somebody thinks they like it anyways at this point. 1.4 there for the S&P leading the way, 1.39 for the Dow. NASDAQ not behind, or not far behind, 1.2. So a nice day. Leaving at the highs, we are.
Yeah, strong close too. We broke 25 to the upside on the futures there. It's coming back now, but I mean, going right into the 4 o'clock close, which is what people would see on websites and whatnot. It was a very strong close as we ended up right there at 26 and almost 26 and change. So definitely going to be an exciting one tomorrow as we end up on the high, like Brendan said.
Yeah, for sure. Going to be a good day. And remember, we are going to be live tomorrow at 8:25. So check us back at that time. And yeah, thanks again for Arun for filling in for the last week or so as we go through a couple of hosts here. And yeah, we're glad to have the opportunity to do that. Thank you again for this afternoon show.
Before we go, there's one very good question. What happens if CPI is flat? That's a question
as
that
expected?
I want. Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting question if we do get that, because I imagine there's going to be a lot of whipsaws back and forth. It should be interesting. I feel like it's going to be up, whichever direction first, up, down, or down, up, and then sideways for a little bit while they digest what to do next, and then they figure it out. But that's probably going to be even more fun than just a one-directional move.
More fun. More fun.
That's volatility, man. You gotta play both directions with that.
Yeah. I would prefer for trading purposes just to go one way, but we'll see tomorrow. I just don't want to get whipped out of some trades. So I would say if it comes as expected, then you want to wait for what you're talking about. Wait for levels to develop. Wait for it to make a move. See volume come in one way or the other, and then hit it. But yeah, Brendan, it's going to be an exciting one tomorrow morning for sure. Brendan's here so early every day, so I know he'll be here tomorrow at 8:25, and I'm hoping every viewer will be as well. Not only that, bring your family, bring your significant other, bring your dog, your cat, your axolotl. I have all 3 of those.
Is this to the CPI number?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Log them in.
It's very exciting.
Log them in. This is going to be a big day, man. You never know, man. You can trade some Chewy, get your dog involved there, get that going on, get some, it's going to be a fun day regardless tomorrow. So join us, man. You've now found the station. Come back every single day. Tomorrow's a special one, 8:25. Then, of course, Wednesday, we will also be back early. The 3 of us will be back for 1:45 to get ready for Fed Chair Powell come out and talk about the interest rate, which is going to be affected by tomorrow. So we went out at about 75, 77%. That's going to change for 50 points tomorrow, I would think. Let's see what happens. For everybody here at Trader TV Live, thanks Lucas for the great job switching. Thanks Liz today as well. Thank you to the midday guys. Thanks Arun. Thanks Brendan. Thanks Bears versus Bulls. It's been a good one. And I want to thank all the viewers. I don't do that enough as well. Thank you for coming back every single day and for supporting the channel. Thank you to everybody that threw out some super chats. That was very kind, and I hope that we did it justice. So from everybody here at Trader TV Live, I'm Shawn, that's Arun, and over there is Brendan. We thank you again, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great evening.